on. Learn to trade.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara Panera, and I'm Sharif. And we're gonna wait for everyone to migrate on over from the other channel. We already have Chase bands. First here to Chase bands. Yes, sir, you are. Thank you for coming. We got Big Billy Turner as well. Good morning to you, Billy. We got Trader Drew. We got the Crazy Stitch Lady, Robert Isaac, Midnight Snowman. Okay. Igor Ill. We got Sonia, the Piper, Chalk Love. We got Stay at Home Dad, baby. Big Kyle Burdett. We got the Sofa Monster, Frank Jones, Miguel, Vin, Alt Styles, TC, Ralph, King Harsh. Yes, we got everybody, but we got Nice Skin, Tim is in, GS Picks, Fox, Folt, we got Yuhi, we got Laura Sanchez, we got Omar, we got Manu, we got everybody. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining Adara and I on How to Trade. Good morning, Adara. How's it look over there?
I'm good. I am looking at Nvidia. I should have gotten long when I saw we were curling back up. Then I was like, Adara, it's Nvidia. What are you thinking? I guess I should have been thinking long. That's cool. I don't have much right now. The things I'm eyeing on with Nvidia, the things I have my eye on with Nvidia is look at this 889, 990 area, right? We bounce off it twice in the pre, then we fall down with a viciousness. Look where we pop back up. Look what ends up being in confluence with VWAP. Around the same area, about 50 pennies off, but for Nvidia, 50 pennies is like 2 cents for any other stock, right? I'm exaggerating slightly, but same general area is what I'm trying to say. Then we have this massive topping tail candle into that 890, we reject, we continue to the downside. We also have a flat-esque bottom of that 882, 881 area, so keeping my eye on this for sure. With regards to Nvidia, really the only stock I have any read on right now, although I have been drawing my little micro ranges on IWM. Like I said, though, with my ETF trades, I've been trying to put way more emphasis on what the book's doing and just using the chart for some helpful levels. So I have some helpful levels here. We'll see how it goes. How are you? I know you had that Q trade.
Fantastic. Yeah. We're looking at the Qs. We have 3 trades. I'm going to cover all of them right now, right before the lesson. In case you're just joining us, guys, we are talking about trading psychology during volatile markets, something that I know I can't get enough of. And if you're a day trader, volatility is your bread and butter, so you better get your mind right when that volatile time comes. So we're going to talk a bit about that. But for now, let's talk about these trades. The Qs. I looked at Adara when she first sat down, like, I don't know, this might be confirmation by seeing what I want to see, but I see a head and shoulders forming, albeit on the 1 minute. Again, we always say all these chart patterns, all these candlestick patterns, they're all fractal. However, the lower down the time frame you go, the higher the failure rate is. And this is a case in point right here. I was looking at this. I'm like, all right, so I have 2 ways to play this. I can take the neckline break, which is the lower end of the range break. And that's what I did here. Took some out, it bounced right back up. I'm like, nope, this is not my trade, I'm getting out. All right, so then what did I want to do? I'm like, let me get in, rather than the neckline break, let me get in on the right shoulder, the top end of the right shoulder. So I put a resting order to defend that 440 area, and I initially got it, and I was able to take 20 quick pennies with some nice size, but look what it did. Popped right back up. I'm like, nope, no you don't, I'm out of this one. And the head and shoulders pattern no longer valid. So not even going to look at that one. We're going to trade the futures off the 100-point levels on the future. Forget about these candlestick patterns. Tesla was able to scalp a nice one on this. I was watching as Starship was doing its thing, and I'm like, all right, you know, if Starship lands, we could get a really nice bump up here on TSLA. Even though they're 2 different companies, it's more about Elon and proof of concept in Elon than rather than anything else. But, you know, I just scalped this one out quickly because, well, it didn't hold. And you saw what the Katina Man was doing with TSLA. And we don't know where the hell Starship is. It's lost. It's lost on Earth. We don't know where it went. We don't know if it blew up. We don't know if it spiraled out of control. If anybody knows, because last minute I looked and I didn't see anything. And then Google. Like the Katina Man's printing on, there's John. John, where's Starship? Where's Starship, guys? We don't know where it is. Google, you saw the Katina Man take several dollars on Google there. To me, though, you know, the lonely low trader I am, I took it through the 141 quarter dollar and then wet my beak there as it broke through the 2/3 of a dollar. This one ended up going almost to 143. We have a couple of touches, I'd say, at that 142.90, and it looks like we're on the way day, right back into that level. Google, a strong name today, second only to Softy in Mag 7, up percentage on the day. Softy up 2 3/4. Goog is up 2 1/4, but Google is up 2%. We're going to talk about Apple in a second because it's rocketing, much to my chagrin, because I didn't get all the love that I wanted there on that big decline. I have an order here that's no longer relevant to defend this level, 173.50 on AAPL. All right, so those are the trades that I had today. Nothing that great to report, but hopefully we'll have some better trades as the show goes on. So let's start this lesson up. And where is my... All right, I have to find my lesson. I don't know where. Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. We got it. We got it. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Nothing's going on. Don't worry about me. All right, guys. Volatility can be one hell of a roller coaster, a nice ride that is for your emotions. Here's how to stay cool, calm, and collected when the market heats up, baby. Let's talk a little bit about this. So the first one that I want to talk about, FOMO, fear of missing out. This is hurt many a trader, many a person in real life, not just in trading. So FOMO, fear of missing out, a psychological state that I think a lot of us can, sympathize with. The thing here to say is not much. Don't chase every hot stock or jump into every trade based on pure emotion. I can't highlight this one enough. Stick to your trading plan and wait for opportunities that align with your strategy. The Katina man dropped a video yesterday. It goes by the name of Walk and Talk. And in that video, he stressed the importance of sticking with your plan, not letting that stock off the hook. And if it goes against you, albeit momentarily, if it sticks within your levels, follow through with it. Stick with your plan. Don't chase trades. Don't jump into trades based on emotions. That necessarily implies one thing: pre-market prep, or prep in general. Doesn't have to be pre-market. If you want to come in and trade 11 to 2 like I do every day, that's fine. Just do your prep wherever before you get your trade. So don't chase every stock. Don't trade on emotions, and stick to your plan. And staying disciplined. We went through an entire week on trading psychology, and we talked about what discipline means within a trading context. We're not going to belabor that right now, but suffice it to say that volatility can absolutely tempt you to abandon your trading plan in search of quick wins. Resist that urge, baby. Discipline is the key to long-term success. That means sticking with your trading plan, making sure that you're using stops, getting out when you say you're gonna get out. And I've been guilty of this. Oh, 5 more pennies. Oh, 10 more pennies. Oh, 15 more pennies. You're down and you're shut down on the day, okay? So obviously you guys are not gonna get shut down at home, but on the prop floor here, we have a max loss per day that we can incur, all right? Emotional trading. So kind of based upon what we were talking about right now, emotions like fear and greed can absolutely cloud your judgment, right? I mean, there is that very, very famous line in The Godfather 2, or it's not even The Godfather 2, it's The Godfather 3, excuse me, when Michael Corleone meets Sonny's kid. I forget, it's Andy Garcia. What's his name in the movie, Katina, man? Yeah, everybody know. Andy Garcia. He plays Sonny's kid in Godfather 3. And when Michael is talking to Sonny about his dad and all the memories he has about his dad, he's like, he was a great man, but his anger clouded his judgment. He could not make good decisions as Don because he was too heated up all the time. So get the emotions out of trading. Emotions like fear and greed can absolutely cloud your judgment. Avoid making impulsive decisions based on how you feel the market will move. Rather, rely on logic and analysis before entering and exiting your trade. So easy to say, so much harder to do. Remove emotions out of trading. Let me know how you guys do on that one, because I'm still working on it, right? And acceptance of losses, right? You have to accept, as a day trader, as a swing trader, as a trader in general, you are going to incur losses. That's just the name of the game. It's just about, whether you can make your winners bigger than your losers. That's really what it comes down to here, right? So losses are an inevitable part of trading, especially during volatile periods, except that some trades won't go your way, and focus on learning from them to improve your future performance. So that acceptance, super important. And try not to dwell on the trade after it's over, guys. It's one trade of many, and it does not mean that all your trades are going to go the same way. Having a short-term memory in terms of losses as a trader, I think, is absolutely great. What's up, Katina, man?
That's the one thing I do that so badly. Like yesterday, took that trade on Coinbase and couldn't forget about it.
Yeah, the Katina man says, you know, he'd like to have a bit of a shorter-term memory with respect to his bad trades. He has that Coinbase trade yesterday, and it couldn't get out of his mind. Right, so we're all working and trying to improve here. So try not to dwell on your losers. Try to learn from them. I always tell Adair, you win or lose. You win or learn. Win or lose. Yeah, I was like, that's profound, Sharif. Maintain perspective at almost whenever you can, guys, at all times. Don't get fixated on every single price movement. Zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Right? We're not looking at every 1 minute candle and living and dying by the movement of that candle. Remember, short-term volatility doesn't necessarily negate, your long-term trading goals. Short-term volatility does not negate your long-term trading goals. So zoom out, look at the bigger picture, especially if you're swing trading, right? And something's against you on the day or on the week. Look at that bigger picture. Where's your stop? Stick to your plan and try not to get too emotional about it. Maintain that perspective. And here's a couple of bonus tips. Limit your screen time. Right, initially, especially constant exposure to market fluctuations can heighten your anxiety, right? Take breaks to clear your head and avoid information overload. Again, you see, the Katina man going on those walks. Why is he walking? He's chilling, he's clearing his mind, he's getting that out of there. The Neil, he's got his headphones in there. He's absorbing that music, helping him chill out during the time that we're on the midday. Whatever works for you, go ahead and do it, baby. And focus on the process. Trust the process, as that dude that plays on Philly says. No, I know exactly who it is. I'm just joking. Focus on the process, guys. Focus on executing your trading plan and executing it effectively rather than obsessing over the outcome of every single trade. And develop a trading routine. This one really helped me, okay? I used to lack routine, now I'm fixated on routine. Having a consistent routine helps manage your emotions and keeps you grounded during volatile periods. And practice mindfulness. There used to be a guy on the trading floor here. I used to call him the machine gun, because he'd sneeze up a storm back there. It was like machine gun sneezes. And that dude, he really introduced me into a lot of meditation. He's gone. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, he's gone. He really introduced me into a lot of meditation. Showed me a lot of different sources that I could go to back there in the green room. That's now going to be a new room for a different purpose. He used to be chilling back there doing some meditating, some mindfulness. So if that's your thing, right, techniques like meditation or deep breathing can help you stay calm and centered when the market throws curveballs your way. And guys, remember, trading psychology is a skill that takes time to practice and develop. Be aware of your emotional triggers, what triggers you, and implementing these strategies, you can approach volatile markets with clear head and a winning mindset. Adara.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important too to remember, and this is one thing I was kind of saying yesterday as well, is like, this is obviously kind of a blasé way of looking at it, but it is essentially, it's numbers and it's an image on a screen, right? So it's like, obviously take it seriously, but don't overreact to it, right?
Yes.
Because it's a whole big market out there. You are one person in a very large market.
Very true.
And yeah, I just think kind of going back to perspective, I think that is that's pretty important for sure. And I think also as well, being aware that certain names might require a stronger, more ironclad grip on your emotions. If you're trading an Nvidia, which maybe I am, I don't know. No, I'm joking. If you're trading some of these larger mega cap names that move with the viciousness, with the volatility, if you're trying to go toe to toe with SMCI, stuff like that, that might require a bit more, just be aware sometimes that you might have to be more cognizant of your emotions or more keeping them in check for certain trades than others, right? Because no two trades are the same. And I think it's also worth noting that the emotional aspects or the emotional requirements of each trade might be different. But also, we should be aware of this super chat. Thank you so much to Chase Bands. I wonder if Mara will marry me. Yeah, let's find out how that's doing there. Also, as I pull this up, I am really enjoying live trading by TraderTV Live /Refrain, saying if I limit my screen time, there's going to be no live stream.
Ram, we're talking to the traders, bro. Calm down back there. We're not talking to you. I mean, Ram doesn't hit trade. What? Say that again. Trader to be. Well, Ram, I asked you. I'm like, look, you're in here every morning. You're listening to the Katina Man spit hotlines. You're listening to the Neil, Brendo, and I at the big desk. Even Adair is dropping hotlines now. When are you going to start telling us you're investing? When am I going to come into work and hear Ram punched 100 shares into Apple or got into Nvidia? When is that going to happen, Ram? Let's go. So yeah, we're all rooting for you, Ram. No question about that. And Adair as well, who's got a financial advisor. And besides, both you guys are the same age. You guys start investing now, you're not going to be able to count your money when you're older. Let me tell you that. So we'll do it. The Katina Man will count it for free, and I will join him. We may have to take a little bit off the top, but that's okay. For free? Aww. All right, I can't.
What's happening?
What are you looking at? I saw an Nvidia short there.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about this super chat, Mara for Chase Bands. Yeah, wanting Mara to marry you. I think right now, you know, Mara I think she needs some time alone. You know, she's down about 9%. I think Mara needs to breathe a little bit before you get down on one knee. You know what I mean? But no, all jokes aside, there is a nice little curl up here worth noting. We are still below VWAP. But yeah, honestly, just a nice move. Not nice, but it's a massive move here to the downside for M to the A to the R to the A. Like I said, though, I always find chart analysis to be a little bit trickier for these Bitcoin names because they do respect Bitcoin in a way that I think negates a lot of their price action. However, there is a bit of a curl up here. People saying Ram trade, which I'm really enjoying here.
Do you see what she wrote? Buy TikTok. I love it.
All the exclamation points,
yeah,
too.
Exactly. There you go. All right, Ram.
But yeah, this
the Katina Man is now out of everything. All right, all the trades, baby. The Googles, the Teslas, the AMDs, we're out of everything.
So, I misspoke.
Okay, he misspoke.
So I'm short Tesla 165.25.
He's still short Tesla 165.25. I like that, Katina Man. Flat bottom break coming in on TSLA. It's been awfully weak. We don't know where Starship is. It's floating out there in the Indian Ocean somewhere, Dara. But you were showing us your trade before we started.
Yeah, it was just this again, this super chat, this Mara super chat. I think this 16 area could be interesting if we hold it. We have had a little bit of a double top around that 33, but again, it's a little bit harder to think about price action with these Bitcoin names. That being said, you know, I would say maybe wait a little bit until you say yes to the dress with Mara. I don't know if you want her to marry you quite now. I would say get a little bit stronger. We're down about 9% on the day. But let's look first here. I do want to talk about this Nvidia trade. Series of trades here. So basically what happened was, I am still in this. I was going to get out here, but I'm like, you know what, Adara, be a little bit more patient. I just had deja vu. Have I done this before on Nvidia? But anyways, let's see what happens. Basically what happened was I initially tried a short here. I got involved too early. I should have waited to watch the range unfold a little bit better. But we have a beautiful pseudo range around 882s to about 886. More or less, right? Then I noticed that, you know, I took this long here when we came back and tried again, right? I took this long around this 881 area and then accidentally took out the entire position, 50 pennies in the money. That's okay, we took 50 cents. I'm not gonna go sit here and cry about that, you know what I mean? We're not in the dollar club, but we were in the 50 cent club for that, not for the $50 club, oh my gosh. But then we took this short here at just shy of 885s. Basically what was happening was I had my finger at the ready. I was waiting to see us develop into a range. We saw the range. I said, Adara, if we decisively break over 86, you are gone. Zeno, as Sharif sometimes says, you're out of the trade. We didn't do that. We kept going. Now we're out of the Nvidia short, and I am pleased as punch. Basically what happened was I did have, like I said, that initial trade was a loss, but because I managed my emotions and I managed the trade, I was able to, you know, go, that's in the past, on to the next trade, and have these two successful trades on NVDA in both directions. And honestly, if this range continues, I can't say I'm going to have to say goodbye to Nvidia forever. She's going to stay on my side chart and in my heart. Although, as Odyssey Fights was saying in the chat, I believe earlier, trade with your chart and not with your heart. And I think that's a really good advice and something to take and something I'm going to especially apply to a stock as slippery and as weaselly as Nvidia.
I like that.
How are you doing? I see you have taken a bite out of the apple.
I have. Oh, so here's the trade. It looks like it's going to stop out, which is fine. I'm risking very little over here. I was looking for it to hold up at these levels. It doesn't look like it wants to. Anyway, I had 77 there as a level with which to get stopped out at. I like this consolidation top here at 173.80. We lose very, very little on this because I'm giving my trades very little room. But it looks like the move down was precipitated by this 18.3 break that we just had on the futures. So Apple can't hold this consolidation top over here. This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to get to the
short. How's that Tesla
that
short?
Tesla short's printed, my boy. That's printed, my boy. Yes, that was pretty good. This is the move down on 18.3 that I was talking about, Katina Man, and that's probably why you're printing big there on TSLA. We have several wicks into green territory here at 18.325. That's where we closed out yesterday at. And we kept trying to reclaim that level. We couldn't reclaim that level, and it ends up being an 18.3 move down, rejection. There we're at 18.280 at the moment, and that had everything in Mag 7 world curling back down. Your Amazons, your Metas, even your Microsoft, about $1 off the high there. Apple no different, and Tesla on the way down. As you can see there, it looks like 880 is being defended for whatever reason on Nvidia, but it is putting in lower highs. So my shorts, keep your eye out on this. We're seeing consecutively lower highs, rejections off the 20 period, which is the yellow solid line on my chart. Every time we wick up into the 20 period, it's met with selling. So that's number one. Now, I see you guys in the chat. I see everybody yelling about the Dixie. I see it's flying up. I don't have the Dixie for whatever reason on my platform, but I have the US CAD. And here, that's the look on the American dollar right now. It's just flying to the high side. This is against the Canadian dollar, but I don't think it really matters. The US dollar on the way up. I don't really understand why. I don't know what's going on in Forex land that's helping pump this up. If you guys know what's going on with the US dollar, I know you guys are telling me to look at the Dixie, but I don't really understand why it's moving up. I'd like an explanation if anybody's got it, and perhaps we can pass that along to other individuals as well. Let's get to the small cap gappers on the day, guys. Ram, if I can show the chart. APM, this one was on watch for me. You guys know how much I love these definable pre-market highs and then a break of the pre-market high after the bell. Well, this did everything, but didn't really go. So the definable pre-market high that we had over here was $8 to the T. That's that candle right there. It goes right to 8 at 8.50. That's well before the bell. This is the bell right here, this first big volume candle. That's 9.30. We break that $8 right here at around 9.45. But look at all these candles here. They're topping tail candles. $8.93 is the highest we can do, but look, the majority of the closing prints are all south of 8.50. So you could tell the shorts were like, nah, you're not coming up today. You're going to stay down there, APM. Who is this? Aptorum. You always know the names. Good for you. $36.5 million market cap. The float, 2.5 million shares. Don't know the short float. We'll look at that in a sec. Anyway, it's not tradable for me right now. It is trading below the volume weighted average price. That means it gets 1X beside its name. It had 2 check marks, but this is the 1X that holds it back here, Adair. The one that is tradable is VERI. Second day play. We watched this monster move yesterday from $1.75 into that $3 territory. Well, we just touched that high and broke it by 1 penny. So this high yesterday on VERI, 307. We got to 309, so 2 pennies, my bad. The reason I like this, definable pre-market high, former runner, and most of all, trading above the volume weighted average price. Let's see if we can bamboozle a trade on VERI, Adara.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at bamboozling Nvidia once again with my micro ranges. But first of all, thank you, Ramin, for letting us know there was an earthquake in Japan.
Oh.
So just, if anyone's in Japan, you were in our thoughts. Yeah, apparently off the coast of Fukushima Prefecture. So yeah, thank you for letting us know that, Ramin. We're going to keep an eye on that. Here's like this tweet as well that was sent here just showing that. But yeah, so this is very unfortunate there. And yeah, thank you, Ramin, for letting us know, because I hadn't seen anything about that. But just something to keep in mind as well with regards to that potential, not potential, there is an earthquake in Japan, but just keep an eye on that and be cognizant of that. Also, Nvidia, I was watching that 779 hold, and then we fell with a viciousness, so that's irrelevant. We're looking at another chart right now. I have my micro ranges drawn just in case. Also for context, so I've been talking about micro ranging lately because I found if I draw really specific levels for myself for initial points of entry, potential DCAs, and then profit takers and exits, I found that I'm able to structure my trades better. So that's kind of what's happening here. And these are based on both what I'm seeing in the chart and what I'm seeing on the book. So that's what I have with Nvidia. There's some micro range potentials here, but right now we're kind of not behaving very well. And honestly, all the things I was looking at have kind of fallen out of their ranges now. I know Tam Panda in the chat said ARM was in a range. ARM was in a range. I had that on my side chart. Kind of some, a little bit of chop and churn here. Top was going to be about just shy of 135. Bottom around VWAP about 134. 134.375, so it gives you a little bit over $1. Now we're falling, so I don't really have much of a play on this now, but I will be keeping an eye on for what we do when we get back to that 134.80 area, because that was another previous high. And if we bounce off that 132, best believe I'm going to be getting involved. So I have some ideas. It's just hard when everything that was rangy has kind of fallen out of the little levels that it was doing earlier. Eli Lilly is well below a milli, so I can't even talk about her. But you know what else is kind of getting interesting for me? Is Meta. Meta is a name that, like I said, I've been a lot more cautious when I trade lately because the spread on this has been, in a word, a lot. It's been bamboozling. We have about, right now, a 10-penny spread. Seconds ago, it was 22 pennies, so it's certainly a little bit messy here on Meta. But I do like that we have the bottom of this range around that 495.70, come to the top just shy of 498. So I do think it gives you some room to some wiggle room to jump around. If the spread gets to an area I like and I wait for some confirmation, get involved midway through the range, I have no problem taking this. Wish I had a trade on right now, but honestly, we're not. The market isn't really in the rangy way that I often look for. If anyone sees any ranges, definitely let me know. Always on the hunt for those, but mostly looking at an ARM potential bounce at 132 and this Meta range to hold.
Absolutely, guys. Tesla, yeah, guys, I know. It's a dumpster fire. It's sad, but that's just the way it is. So did I get filled? I'm in my SIM account on my profile because I don't want you guys to see my actual account. So I'm not sure if I actually got filled, but 99% chance that I got filled on that 165. So I'm kind of happy about that. I'm picking up very small amounts of Tesla at the increments of $5, like 175, 170, 165, etc. Very small size. I don't want to have to be in the position where I'm like down aggressively and I want out of the position. I got a DCA, a ridiculous amount of shares in order to break even. That's not what I want to do here. I want to build it up over the really long term. I'm talking about years here. So I think I got filled at 165, so kind of happy about that. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about this Tesla trade, because what I did was I just put a resting order for the defend of that 164 level. But then as I looked, I'm like, well, there's really no price action at this 164. If it pops up, it could easily break 164. It's really the 164.50 that I want, but it may not even give that to me. It is on the way down, guys. Tesla is tanking. 163.50 coming in. We just broke 164. This thing is absolutely on the way down right now. It's just not my style to punch in and chase it. I really wanted it to come back into a key level of resistance before we went long here. Took the trade for short. But right now it's on the way down to there goes the 50-penny area, 163.48. This thing headed very aggressively to the downside. So is AAPL. But the thing about Apple, though, is we're getting that VWAP possible support right now. Your Tesla trade is absolutely tanking. So it's printing big there. Yeah. This is the level on AAPL right now. Yeah, bro. Yeah. 163.26. That, I don't know. I'm assuming might be Starship. I have no idea. I'm looking for a possible VWAP hold right now. And in addition to the fact that VWAP is here, look at these two topping tail candles that were rejected at this 173 and a third area. So I like Apple at these levels. I'm going to get in a trade with a tight stop. I'm going to send it to you, Adair.
Yeah, I am currently trying to slide into Meta's DMs, hang out with Zuck, But yeah, we'll have to see here. Hopefully this entry, doesn't miss the mark, Zuckerberg. But basically the plan is to get involved at this 496 area, because if you can see here too, we did have a little bit of mini bounces here earlier. Like, it's just kind of basically looking at some areas where we could have had some interest in the chart. Also, like I said, I wanted to see enough of a bounce off of that bottom of the range before getting involved. We're a few pennies shy of my point of entry. I might have set my point of entry too high. I've talked about this a lot as well, where because I don't want to get involved at a bad price, too low, I'll try to get involved at a price that isn't feasible. So I was trying to get involved at just above 496. It looks like now we're kind of well above that area, right? So that's one thing I'm working on as well, that very particular and hard to make balance of the perfect entry point, especially in a spreadier stock. So let's see what we do here. These lines here too. So if we get back to 495 and we bounce, I'm adding to the position. If we break below that 495.40 area, and I chose that area because look at these candles that we had some chop and churn earlier. Look at that bounce we had in the pre right before open. Those are really going to be the areas that I'm going to be having to say nah, and taking my shares out of this, sliding out of Meta's DMs, and saying bye to META. So that's the look on that. We'll have to see if it gets filled. For now, kind of my best point of entry. Or not best point of entry, but my best plan, my most concrete idea. However, though, ARM trying to bounce off that 132, making me say, hello. I need to be looking at names with better spreads. ARM also has a spread of over 10 pennies right now. I mean, that really the goal should be finding names with spreads that do not make you say, So we'll have to continue to see what happens there. But I do like this meta look. We'll have to see. We just got filled in this, so hopefully pleased as punch. Mostly just happy I got involved in the trade. Also, we have here Kyle Burdett. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Hey, Elon, plenty of shares to buy cheap now for that 25% ownership. You and Aunt Kathy might end up owning 80%. Whew. So big Kyle Burdett coming after Elon and Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla now. Ooh, that's a nice little tail candle here showing that we might have a little bit of buyers trying to overwhelm sellers around this 163 area. I like this 165.30. If we get there, that could be interesting at the base of that earlier flat bottom break-esque shape, but that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Also, thank you so much to Noah for the $5 super chat. Hey, Sharif and Pandera. Hello. Teacher off for spring break trading. FOMO had me DCA Mara yesterday to 22, hitting just over 18 today. Just under 18 today. Psychology messing with me. Sad face. I'm really sorry to hear that, but thank you for your super chat and thank you for being here. Mara, like I said, to use a Sharifism, a bit bamboozling, especially with how it does move in tandem with Bitcoin. Someone earlier in another super chat was saying they wanted to marry Mara, but yeah, Mara is definitely one a little bit shy with commitment. We looked like we were curling back up here. We looked like curling back towards VWAP, and Mara says, nah, continues to fall to the downside. This candle, though, much like the one we were seeing with Tesla, shows we could have a little bit of buyers overwhelming sellers. So let's wait and see what we get on MARA. This break below that 1784 area, that was an earlier area of support, could be a bit interesting. We're going to have to see what we get there. And let's look at the daily, because I know you mentioned yesterday. Also, yeah, I appreciate, we always appreciate everyone being really open in this chat, because trading can be really hard. We are here to talk about the psychology of trading. Sorry to hear you had that day yesterday, but, we appreciate you coming on and joining us. And yeah, I think, too, this Mara move yesterday was certainly something. It's too bad that did not work out, but I find especially too, we were talking about this pre-market as well with Patrick, that a lot of times now Mara will do whatever the opposite of what Bitcoin's doing. So it does seem to be having its own intense movements. Sharif also having his own intense movement there too, getting very excited over that trade. That worked out really well. I wasn't even planning on saying that. Also, one more super chat before we pass off to find out what was giving Sharif so much joy. Hi Trader, says Willis Addison, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Hi traders, crushing Marvell puts from 80.7368. Wow. Let's look at MRVL. Congrats to you for that look there, Willis Addison. Yeah, Marvell. Let's see what we're doing. Yeah, this one definitely been pretty weak. Kind of looks like a bit of a stutter step to the downside. If we reject again off that 65 area, this might actually have to be a new resident of my side charts. So we're gonna have to maybe make that change. But let's look right now. You said 80 starting with these puts. Whew. Yeah, this is quite the look here. We're falling back below here. We're kind of coming into that area of previous support-esque around 66. Looks like we're going to break below it. Nice look here. All I have to say is congratulations, taking advantage of that steady Marvell move to the downside. Meta moving to the upside, so I'm going to just set my profit takers. But you have some things to discuss.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the Dixie, guys. I see the Dixie. The Dixie is at day's highs. It keeps printing up higher and higher. Somebody was telling me it has something to do with PPI. I'm not intelligent enough to know that. That's not what my anticipation was going to be, that if we printed higher or whatever, some sort of print there on PPI, that we would get a bump on the Dixie. But this is what I was freaking out about. Don't catch a falling knife, they said, and typically don't. But I did see a hammer candle come in on TSLA RAM, and that's what caused me. Is it RAM? Yeah, it is. Or is it? Yes, it is. And this is why I punched long on Tesla at that 163.10-ish area. We wet our beak there through the break of 75. So it was a nice trade, quick scalp, quick out. The hammer candle is, typically what the hammer candle means, if you miss that week on hammer or on candlestick patterns, is that you get a big down move, and then the longs kind of overwhelm sellers. Adair just finished explaining it like a second ago, but I'll just repeat it again. Buyers overwhelm sellers at that level, and so when you have a big lower wick, the tail of the candle, that short stick, and then the body closes much nearer the top. And typically when you have something like that, it's usually a bullish signal of sorts. Usually bottoming tail candles in general are bullish by nature because they're showing that the selling pressure is being overwhelmed by increasing buying pressure, hence the bottoming tail candles and the bodies closing near the top. So that's why I got into that trade. We scalped it nice and quick there. Now we're in AAPL, and what we're looking for here, Dara, is a volume weighted average price hold. So let's go ahead and sit at that 149 area to take some off before the $0.50. Well, because, sometimes we do get that resistance level at the $0.50. But I do anticipate a bit of a better bounce here on AAPL. Number one, it's a bit strong on the day. Number two, it's bouncing off the volume weighted average price. And number three, we're kind of trying to work our way back above 18.3 yet again here on the fuge. We're doing the wick shimmy dance right now south of 18.3, so we're coming into 18.3, kind of wicking into it and then rejecting again. So we'll see if we're able to claim it on a closing basis. So we'll see there. AAPL, for whatever reason, not really going here off VWAP. Let's go, Apple. Sign into chat. What is going on with this stuff, bro? This thing logs me out.
Really?
Yeah, my TraderTV.live account logs me out constantly. I think it's for security reasons. But it's really annoying because
it's probably logged in over there too.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like, look, if I wanted to log out, I would have logged out.
Yeah,
I need you deciding for me to log out.
Sharif has autonomy. Trader TV YouTube channel, okay?
It's not even them. It's YouTube. It's Google. Yeah. Short Google. No, I'm kidding. No, seriously though, guys. I'm looking for that VWAP hold on AAPL. That's what I'm looking for there. We'll see if we get it there.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty entertaining, the whole the struggle, the eternal battle with Sharif's Google account for work. But yeah, I'm happy we got a fill here on Meta. So we have some of the position out. We have safely dipped some of the beat here in some profits around 497. Oh, wow. Saving a piece for the dream at the top of the range or near the top of the range, around 497.40s. I chose that area because I always like to get out before we get to the top of the range because I don't really trust always that we can get exactly there, using them as guides, not using them as rules, right? So that's what I have, the look I have here as well. Kyle Burdett, not sure I can read this super chat, but the gist of this, DXY is growing over here as the Tesla swing continues to be successful. So congrats to you on that look. Nice look as well. And thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Also, yeah, so people asking what the poll is, FOMO versus JOMO. So JOMO is the joy of missing out, and FOMO is the fear of missing out. And honestly, sometimes it can be nice to miss out on moves because it can just motivate you to get another move. So yesterday, I was talking about this yesterday. One of those first Nvidia longs into 900 around 1 p.m. I missed, but then the second one, when we had a good point, I tried to catch it, right? So sometimes it's like it can motivate you to be extra prepared and extra careful heading into the next move. So I like JOMO. I voted for JOMO. Check out that wonderful poll in the chat. But yeah, so what else is happening here in the chat? Let's see what's happening. Yeah, this meta, we're gonna have to see if we continue to crawl up. Nvidia coming back into that area that I found a little bit interesting. A little bit, I was interacting with it a lot this morning. But look, we're having this, the micro ranges are doing their thing 21 because I had this drawn at 879, just shy of 880s. And look, we come into this, look at how many, Sharif was just talking about these wicks when we have them to the downside. When we have them to upside, it's like, hey, buyers overwhelming sellers. And then we come and close around that 879. Could we see movement to the downside? If we do, I think I may punch short. We may try to take some of that Panera bread to the downside. We're gonna have to wait and see on that though, but the look, I'm liking what I'm looking at here. Meta really struggling above 497, so I think we might have to take everything out at 497. That's okay, you know, the trade moves and you adapt and you react accordingly, so that might be what happens here. Really though, this Nvidia short has me very wide-eyed. How are you doing?
I'm reading Kyle's comment. He's like, that super chat was for you. Sharif, Dixie's growth.
See, I wasn't sure if I could read it.
Bro, you're killing me over here. You're killing me, Big Kyle. Thank you for the $5 super chat. All right, yeah, the Dixie is going up, guys. It's uninterrupted to the high side. Let's show the DXY. Well, I don't have the DXY. Sorry, I have the US.
You can type in
UUP on our platform.
That's a Polish dollar, US dollar.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Amex. Okay, perfect, Katina man. Thank you for that. Let's pull that up. UUP, says the Katina man, on the Amex network. There it is. Yeah, day's high. As you can see, let's flip to the 5. As you can see right there, we touched 27.97. This is UUP is the Invesco DB US dollar index. So the fund seeks long positions in the DX contracts with a view to tracking the changes in the level of the Deutsche Bank long USD currency portfolio index. All right, well, there you go. I mean, it's a reflection of what the US dollar is doing at the moment at 27.97. Let me see with respect to the daily where we're at. Well, we're in an intra range, I would say. Nothing really breaking out on the daily, so to speak, but definitely on the day, it's a big move. We'll keep eyes on this. I'm not sure exactly what to make of it at the moment or how to trade that particular look. What I'm getting though is cut up on AAPL, and the reason is I keep setting up a tight stop below VWAP, and it keeps holding that general VWAP area only to wick below, stop me out, and then I get back in and it stops me out again. So I'm gonna start looking for new candles to make highs on a closing basis, and that if that means giving up some profit because I get in a little higher, fine. But I'm not going to keep getting cut up on the stock like this. Now I'm negative on the stock, positive on the day, but negative on the stock because of all these umpteen amount of entries. So I'll look for a 5-minute candle close to make a new high before I get in. And obviously it has to hold the volume weighted average price here at 173 1/3. So the AAPL holding up at good levels. It's a volume weighted average price. We have these two obvious wicks here that were key levels of resistance earlier on. The first at 935 and then the second at 955. So, you know, to me, it's setting up technically, it's setting up well. But if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. It doesn't matter what I see or think or feel, right? So we'll continue to watch that. Let's see what else we got. Let's flip back to some of these small cap gappers, see which ones are still jiving. VERI now. Remember, I was singing this one's praise, singing, oh, look, this is the only one that's tradable for me at the moment, trading above VWAP, yada, yada, yada. Well, that was about 15, 20 minutes ago, because now it's broken down below that $2.80, and now it's giving up the ghost at 2 1/3. So this one, not tradable in my books if and until it reclaims the volume weighted average price. APM doing its darndest to get back above VWAP, but look at the wicks. I mean, it's being met with a wall of sellers, likely short sellers, unlikely to be profit takers at these levels. Why? Because trading at the volume weighted average price, and it's not able to take through 8. So we're gonna wait to see if this one can break and hold above the volume weighted average price so we can see if we can get a proper trade on it. But so long as it's doing that wick shimmy dance from the sell side, it's going to stay on our you-know-what list. So we'll keep eyes on that. Nothing else really here to talk about unless we have something doing here on AAPL. Looks like it's really doing its darndest to stay above the volume weighted average price. I'm going to pack my patience now.
Yeah, patience does need to be packed, and it needs to be gift wrapped, and you need to make sure you have it. We're talking about the psychology of trading volatility, and this market was like, hi, talking about me? Let's come on. So yeah, I mean, this has been quite the market. Meta making me pull out my hair just to go, no, I'm joking. But I have to get out of this trade, though, because we're making lower highs and higher lows. A range trade that I'm comfortable with, this is not. We're out of Meta, please just punch. We could have waited again for that 497, but this slightly higher low made me not comfortable, so happy I left where I did. Honestly, you have to make the decisions you have to make. That brings me to this Nvidia scalp. I said that like an evil villain, but I am really happy with this. So like I said, I was watching, Sharif was talking about the beauty of that Tesla candle. He had that move down and then got involved. Nvidia, I got involved for the exact same reason, but to the downside. We had all these spikes up into my other micro range level, 882. We couldn't get to 882, so I got involved at my other micro range level here, this 879s. Took it short, teeny tiny baby position. The plan was to go for 877s. We couldn't get it. I took 878s, and I'm not going to sit here and complain. You know what I mean? I'm pretty proud of the trade. I'm going to be really honest. But you know, it's just one trade. Where's the next trade, I say? I've only been trading two names all day, Meta and Nvidia. So I am looking for some other opportunities. And ARM screaming at me like, or I guess it's waving at me because it's ARM. ARM waving like, hey, Adara, I bounced off 132 and you forgot about me. I might have to get involved in ARM. And I might actually be eyeing what we do at 133 now for a level, because that was a bit of a level here in the pre we had some issues with. And as I say it, ARM sells off just as goes. Sells off is a strong word, but we struggle a little bit. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. But if ARM continues to respect this 132 bounce, there might be something here for me. There was also a really funny comment here I saw in the chat from, here we go. Noah saying, Mara looks like she's running down the steps, away from the aisle, away from the church, straight down to the depths of Hades. So people really enjoying this Mara wedding analogy. Let's pull up Mademoiselle Mara again. Yeah, she certainly seems a little bit, scared. She's getting cold feet, although she is nearing that 1780 area again, which I said was a little bit of a local area of support. Not huge, but certainly an area that I would absolutely be keeping an eye on here for sure. Stock Trader asking about if we have any opinions on the Reddit IPO next week. I think it'll be really fascinating. I think given how many companies are invested in it. Also, they hold a lot of Bitcoin. So it could be an interesting Bitcoin-related thing.
I don't know how I feel about this one, Adara. Number one, they raised during the pandemic at a valuation of $10 billion. So this, for all intents and purposes, is a down round. I know we're not in the private market anymore, technically not a down round, but practically, I think it is. Now, they're talking about a valuation of what, 5 to 7.5, or what was it?
I think it was 5 to 7.5.
Five, in that range. I think that is super rich. Their average revenue per user, their ARPU, is $3. Compare that to Facebook, it's like almost 50. I mean, we're not even talking the same league. And okay, so if you're going to come at this from the API, all right, they've got amazing amounts of data. All these LLMs want to get trained on this data. Great, sounds fantastic. Do you know how much, I don't want to call misinformation, but it's not all like scholarly stuff on there, guys. There's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't want to train my LLM on. Right? And that's just how I feel about it. I personally use Reddit maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. And it's great for informal chatter, but I don't want to rely on it. If I'm typing something into a large language model, I want to be as accurate as possible. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that. And even if they do, right, use the API to monetize, I mean, at the end of the day, like, is that really worth that? I don't know. So I have some suspicions about this. I'd like to see exactly how this trades after IPO, like in the months and the lockout period as well. In addition to that, they want to give shares to their mods. Sounds fantastic. Sounds like you're democratizing the markets. I don't know if I want, big stakeholders from within that. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing plays out. Lots of entertainment. I'm sure we'll get lots of volatility on it as well.
Yeah. Sean was giving his thumbs up. So
my Amazon return.
Oh, he's wearing his Amazon return. So there we go.
What are you returning? Can we ask, or is it?
I bought an iPad.
Oh yeah, you bought and you're returning the iPad? All right, no good.
No, because it only had 32 gigabytes RAM.
32, but then Apple's gonna go down now, Katina man. So.
Maybe Amazon.
Oh,
I'm
Amazon
saying
too,
bypad
baby.
to the iPad, yeah.
All right, let's see what Reddit Degens says. Just do it. I wouldn't call them Degens, man. I'm just, you know, I don't know.
Also, Bears versus Bulls saying, what's wrong with mods? Nothing is wrong with mods.
No,
Thank
no,
you very
guys,
much to
that's
Bears
not
versus
what he-
Bulls
yeah.
for that. Yeah, I think it's a joke there, but yeah. We apologize
Ram
to
wants me to
everyone we
apologize to everyone that I heard out there right now. I'm not allowed to have an opinion anymore, guys.
But seriously, thank you so much always to Bears versus Bulls, always killing it out there. I think the issues, or not the issue, but the interesting
love you,
thing
Bears versus
with regards to Reddit and the mods is Fabian and I were talking about this a while ago, how, you know, we do have Wall Street bets on Reddit, right? So people are thinking there could be some way that there could be some Reddit finagling, maybe people being like, oh, you know, trade this, trade that, right? So I think people think, I think also though what I've heard that I think is interesting too is I think this might have been the discussion of it on the compound potentially, but they were talking about how this Reddit IPO could be interesting because giving the mods some shares could actually limit the amount of playing with the stock that could happen, right? So we're gonna have to wait and see. Either way, I think it's an interesting choice that could have some interesting implications. And we love moderators over here. You rock, Bears versus Bulls. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Also, I'm really enjoying Noah's continued Mara analogy here too. So I thought that's been really funny with Mara and its wedding. But also, yeah, Noah also talking for serious too about some FOMO. Yeah, FOMO is really hard, and I appreciate the pull there in the chat. I think what I've been trying to do as well that I think kind of gets you out of the FOMO mode sometimes is knowing that, like, and I think for me too, FOMO I find the worst is if I leave a trade. But I stopped doing that once I started doing my micro ranges, and I was just like, you know, Adara, you had a plan. Your plan was short-term. Your plan was short-lived. And you're not going to get every part of every moment. And that, to me, helped me with the FOMO. I know the way I worded that did sound like I'm starting like some multi-level marketing for micro ranges. I'm really not. But I found the strategy to really work for me over the last couple days of doing it. And I think just having a plan that works for you, at least in my experience, can really help combat the FOMO.
Can I just review Tesla here?
Yeah, please
for
do.
big Kyle Burdett, he's holding a long-term short on TSLA, a swing short, and he wants me to have a look at the weekly. So let me remove this bar because that was the split date and it messes up my chart. Look, Kyle, Neil and I talked about this. Sean and I talked about this. There's an obvious downtrend of lower highs on Tesla since the highs of the pandemic. When we put that high, I think November of 2021, that is when Papa went before Congress, I believe. I think it was Congress. And he said, inflation wasn't transitory. And that's when we know the top of the pandemic market came. Subsequent to that, it was a slew of lower highs and lower lows. Big Kyle, I don't know where your profit taker is. But if you're asking me where the next lower low could be, right, or what lower low off which to base your trade, I mean, it's this. It's a $100 area. Now, if you don't want to have such an ambitious price target, and I can completely understand that, then we could be looking at that 150. Look what we did back in May of 23. We kind of troughed at 150. It was a higher low of sorts, if you want to call this particular area here a trough. It also has a hammer candle right there showing, you know, that 150 level was respected. It was the last time we made it down to 150. So I'm going to say to you, maybe take off the majority of the position at 150. Or thereabouts, if we make it down to 150 and then maybe leave a piece for the dream for that 100. But I don't know if we see 100 again, Kyle. Like, and that 100 area was, it was one off. It was like we hadn't been to that 100 area since August of 2020, just right after the pandemic recovery from March of 2020. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'd say to you, my price or like my profit target suggestion to you would be that 150 area. I think that that's reasonable. That's not that far from where we're trading today, dude, 12 bucks. Other than that, there's a bit of a chasm between that 150 support and that 100 support. I don't see anything in and around there to justify a PT, a price target for a beak wetter. So that's my suggestion to you. I hope you kill it on this short in the same way that I hope I kill it long term on this Tesla trade, because, you know, I'm adding very small and incrementally. Hope you kill it, Kyle. I hope that helps. And let me know how it all goes there. Keeping an eye on these markets, baby. I'd like an 18.3 break and hold for me to get long again on AAPL. It's been holding VWAP very nicely, okay? It really hasn't been breaking above or below. Sure, it's got the wicks. That's a natural price action. It bamboozled me, fine. I'll get my avenge trade eventually on Apple. If it, yeah, I'm taking some pages out of your book there, Dara. If the future curls back above 18.3 there.
We love avenge trades in here. It basically, like, I like that concept as well, because we're talking about FOMO too, right? Sometimes too, it's like you have a trade that doesn't work out. This one aspect of psychological trading I find helpful for me. Then you just kind of have to look at it the next time. If you decide to trade that name again, don't go at it as like, oh, I'm going to get revenge on that name. I'm going to John Wick this stock. Instead of think of it like, I'm going to make sure that the stock and I are having, you know, a nice equal relationship where we can both benefit. You know what I mean? It took some money from me last time. I'm going to take some money from
I
you
like
this
how you're
time.
soft talking it, eh? It's like, all right, so be nice to it. Okay, okay.
Right? Because I mean, I think too, like I've been working on that because I've talked about this pretty openly, and I was having a conversation this morning as well with Sharif, Sean, and Patrick about how I find whatever reason with Amazon can be in a beautiful range. I get involved in an Amazon range trade and the range falls off. And I was like, and this happened more than once. And I said this morning, I was like, I can't trade Amazon anymore. And everyone else here was telling me like, you know, like, don't think of it like that, right? Like it's just one stock that does one thing. So I think that's, you know, with regards to our psychology of volatility trading, I think that's one thing I wanted to say. And also, I want to talk about that with Nvidia. My first trade in Nvidia, the thesis was right, the short from this level, but I got in too early. We got it above my point of entry and I left, or above my stop area and I left, right? Like simple as that. But I didn't let that stop me. I tried to take this short here or this long off the bottom of the range. Fat fingered out too early, only got 50 cents. That's okay. I waited for my good opportunity and then I kind of was able to strike again, right? So I think that's what I mean with avenge trading, approaching it as, you know, it's a new trade. It's a whole new opportunity. It doesn't matter what the ticker is, it's a whole new trade. So I think that's just my little food for thought there. Also, I should have gotten Nvidia off the 876 hold, and I didn't, but that's okay. On to the next trade. And if we keep playing these micro ranges that I've drawn here, I like this micro range from just below 876 to about 877.30. Is it small? Sure, but can we scalp it? Maybe. So that's what I'm looking for here, just areas that hold within these ranges. Also, ARM continuing to scuttle around that 132, but it's not really waving at me like with its arm, like, hey, come join the trade, right? So I need to wait for a bit stronger confirmation. There is something brewing with 132, but even it is a short off 132, that's really not my type of trade because I like to have my profit takers a little bit more set in stone. So I'll have to see what we do here. Microsoft also kind of getting interesting. I have the 1 minute on my side chart for whatever reason for Microsoft, and there was a range trade to be had here on the 1 minute, giving you about 40 pennies. Now we're curling back. If we fail, and I'm going to wait for confirmation in a wider time frame too, mind you, but if we fail this former mini support area of 425, and as I say it, we break above, that could actually be an interesting trade for me. Keeping my eye out, always looking for ranges and ready to be home on the range as we head into the afternoon.
All right.
Did you find out what happened to it?
It looks like it was lost. So they don't know. It's over the Indian Ocean, obviously one of the biggest oceans in the world. So finding that is going to be a bit tough. I'm reading here. So Musk, I don't know, do we say tweeted or do we say X'd now? I have no idea. He tweeted.
He exclaimed. He exclaimed.
Oh, there you go. He's very happy. He's like, you know, this reached new heights. Huge congratulations. And he's saying basically this was a win, but they don't know where it is. So, I mean, I guess third time wasn't a charm here, or maybe it kind of is because they did do some novel stuff, but yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. Anyway, it's not looking good for Tesla stock today. I'm not trying to make the connection between them, but you can't help but do that. Let's load up TSLA because it is at day's lows right now. Oof. Yeah, it's on its way to 160, it looks like, on the day. So I got filled at 165. I just checked the phone. I got the fill, and it looks like I may be getting filled today at 160. So we're on the way down. We broke down below 163. There goes the breakdown of 163. Now we're on our way likely into that low of day at 162.72. We're printing in the 80s right now. Where do we find local support here on Apple? I don't think we can. We're going to have to look at the daily in order to find some support here because we haven't been at these levels in some months. So let me take this one off because it has the pivot points on it, and the pivot points really distort the chart. Here it is. Sorry, guys. Just let me bring that Tesla stock up over here. So we just finished looking for Big Kyle as to where that next key area of support will be, and there's nothing below here until 150. sadly. Okay, so I mean, you could try to base it off some of the stuff over here, but that's just random willy-nilly stuff. The base is going to be 150. So it looks like that flat bot, like that real level, was 180. So very similar to Apple. I mean, in the sense that we were putting in lower highs, 180. But in this sense over here, that 180 was a key level after the fact. And here's why I say that, because we got a defend of 180 on February 5th and February 6th. And then since that time, we didn't touch 180 again. Now that we given up the ghost at 180, look at all the rejections from the south side of 180. So now 180, which didn't really act too much as a support level early on because we only touched it a couple of times. Now it's acting as a key area of resistance because all the wicks and all the moves attempting to break 180 have all faded off. So it's going to be that 150 to 130, sorry, 180 to 150 range, excuse me, here on on the TSLA. So nothing for me, obviously, right now on it. Or can we? Let me look over here on TSLA. So it looks like we're making a move back up above 163. The high end of the range over here, for whatever reason, was 163.80. Multiple attempts got rejected on the 1 minute at 163.80. So that is a key level from which to break through. We're looking for, I'll be looking for resistance at 163.80, 163.75-ish area. We'll see what we get on Tesla, whether it can break and hold above 163 again, Adara. But yeah, big move down on Tesla, down 3 1/4.
Also, with regards to Tesla, I forgot to put this up earlier, but shout out to Sean. Sean put this in our group chat. He said, my Tesla. And for a second, I was like, did Sean get a car? But no, he just got an amazing Tesla short. So congrats to Sean on this. We have it twice. We also have this wonderful George Takai gif on the side with his AMD short. So congrats, shout out to Sean. And just because we were talking about Tesla, and I forgot to show that tweet earlier, yeah, nice little tweet there on Tesla. Also, I saw this tweet from Joanna Brewster, or not tweet, sorry, Joanna Brewster in the chat. Wow, I was just looking at Twitter and my brain went. Saying that Amazon holding VWAP, could we see 180 today? Paraphrasing that slightly. Yeah, I think we could, and I like the look of this for some range opportunities, so I actually did decide to get involved. We do have, oh, what happened? I got rid of all my little lines. That's okay. We do have lower highs and lower lows. That's the one thing, but we're holding VWAP like a charm. If we continue to hold VWAP, I'm staying in Amazon. If not, I'm getting out. I did have all these micro ranges drawn, but either way, I can still kind of remember where I wanted to go. I'm going to be taking some out here at that 178.50. I'm going to be taking some out. Then I would be taking some out at 178.80s. But as I say that, Amazon once again will hold the level beautifully until I decide I'd like to join the tango. That's okay. Like we said, not attaching specific biases to specific stocks, even when they really are trying to give you reason to. No, I'm joking. But if we get below this earlier area, this 178, that's going to be my out. And if we hold, I will, if we continue to hold this level, I might add to the position here. That's the look here on Amazon. Yeah, I think the only thing I would say, Joanna Brewster, with regards to the strength of this is that we do have a pseudo double top here in the 3 minute at that 179.50. Seems to be a little bit of an area of resistance and the lower highs, lower lows. But if we hold this VWAP, or if we continue to hold this VWAP, because look at all this chop and churn, I do think it's a good look. And I'm still comfortable in the long until we break below that 178. Though I don't love where I got in. I think adding at VWAP could be maybe an interesting play if we hold it well. So that's my take on Amazon. We are seeing a bit of a move down, though, in all of these Mag 7 names. Nvidia dropping a little bit here, making new lows of day. Big move down here. Also, Kevy82 asking about my old pal Lulu. Do you like this range on Lulu? I haven't looked at Lulu in a while, and I used to trade this one fairly regularly. I have to be honest with you, there's not really enough kind of range here. I do like that, there's about $1, 468, 469. What really concerns me, though, is the lack of volume on Lulu. We're under 400,000 shares, so I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to run away from her in my leggings from Lululemon. But it's still something I absolutely want to keep an eye on if the volume gets better, because I see what you mean. There's some kind of range potential here. I just don't really want to get involved. There's also about a 40 penny spread.
All right, we're going to bang here for Harris Ruck with $5 Canadian super chat, baby. Thank you very much. Sharif Gobrel, any must-read book suggestions for being successful as a day trader and staying consistently profitable. I have 2 suggestions. I think these are both very commonly known books within the trading community. The first is a technical analysis book to teach you some TA. It's called Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets by John J. Murphy. And then there's Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, which is for the psychology of trading. Those are well-known, well-respected books. They're not the only ones. And my suggestion to you is this. If you want to become a super TA master, you start with that book, and then you can do more than 1 or 2 things. I'm going to suggest 1 of 2 things, or even both. 1, buy the Chartered Market Technicians materials and learn TA as Michael Noss learned TA through like the actual channels. It's kind of like the bar material for lawyers, okay? That's 1. 2, John J. Murphy in every single chapter of his book cites all of his sources, all of it. So the beautiful thing about that is if you want to learn more about point and figure charting, if you want to learn more about Elliott wave theory, and these are all things he covers in his book, he shows you exactly what books he extracts all that information from. So getting that book is like getting a sort of an index or a table of contents for all the different books that you need in order to kind of apprise yourself on all the TA. As Neil gets ready to drop his hot lines, I should mention to the market that Nvidia is on the way down. It is down big, 4.5%. It just broke 870, guys. And there was a bit of a flat bottom break at the $8.75. We'll see if this one can hold up at that 868 low. But it is time for the lesson of the day with Neil.
Welcome to your lesson of the day. Use pre and post market trading to your advantage. Now, if you're like a lot of traders, the notion of trading in the pre and post market where there is less liquidity, where there is more risk, is something that might be a little bit daunting, and I can understand why you might not want to execute at those times. I'm not suggesting that you even do that. What I'm going to talk about is using the information that you get pre and post market to inform your trading and try to get a little bit better. Now, if you happen to trade and you want to trade in the pre and post market, understand the rules at whatever your broker you're at. What types of orders are you allowed to use? Do your stop orders work? Some brokers are not going to have stop orders that'll send any market orders out there, so they will be different conditions between regular hour trading and pre and post market. The same thing can be true for what gateways you might have available to execute on if you have direct market access. It is a responsibility of traders to understand the rules at their broker and then know the circumstances where they can or cannot get filled. So I'm not suggesting you trade pre and post, but I think you can take advantage of that price action. When is the best time to look at significance, pre and post market? When something's actually happening. A stock is reporting earnings after market or in the morning. A stock has significant news. Maybe there is a lawsuit, or maybe there's a new product launch, and you're getting some pre and post market volume with which to work from. That's when you want to dig in, observe that price action, and use it to your advantage come the open. Because what's going to happen is there are traders, and I'm being honest with you, there are traders that are going to log in and look at something like a Robinhood here that had earnings after market, and they're going to see a gap up, and all they're going to do is look at the price action from about an hour before the open and then at the open. So when you come to the chart on Robinhood here and you sit down in the morning, chart, Ram, thank you, you're going to have a gap to the upside. Now I'm showing you some pre-market action at 6 o'clock, but you're not getting everything in the aftermarket there. You're going to have some support. You're clearly strong. The numbers were all fantastic, and the stock goes for an absolute dump at the open. Well, crap, how could you have seen that coming? Maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. But if you were to look at, I'm going to pull up my trade ideas on a 15-minute and show you a little bit more in depth what happened in the aftermarket for Robinhood, and you might get a sense of why things might have gone the way they did. So as you can see, not earnings, but they had a release of some monthly numbers where they had fantastic metrics, basically blew it out in terms of dollars dollars invested and funds held, and the client counts were fantastic for them. But you're going to see it make a top here just underneath 19 bucks right away after market. This is before 5 o'clock. Then another puts in a higher low, support, and then suddenly it's cresting, and it cannot get above $19. Then you fast forward to early in the morning at 4 a.m. when all the traders start to come online, and that $19 level is your support. I mean, right away. It was a resistance into support at $19. If you come into the morning armed with the information that very clearly 19 was a key pivot spot, when it doesn't hold the open, you're not thinking long. Because after that news, you knew there was a brick wall. In a liquidity vacuum, where are the markets getting made? Where is support and resistance? Because this is all on thin volume. So if there's resistance at 19, aftermarket on the release, and then there's support at 19, pre-market for the YOLO traders trading the gap, well, what do you not want to be doing when this breaks 19? Trying to catch a falling knife. You don't want any part of that. So when it breaks this, you can be sitting on your hands or you can be looking for a breakdown short. But then look at where it bounces. Your aftermarket support at 1825 or so turns into a decent bounce spot. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. This is not like at 12 o'clock or at 3 o'clock when a stock hits a double or triple top like an Apple does, and there is tons of liquidity, and to the penny you get a support or resistance level that you can trade off of. When you are looking at that zone of support, it's one thing when it fails 19 to look short and just see momentum down. But if you're looking for that dip support where there was support in the afternoon aftermarket, it's more of a range. You cannot treat these wicks here in the aftermarket like a hard line that it's going to stop at, because there's not enough volume to have that kind of confidence. What you can start doing at those price levels is look for signs of strength. Maybe you get them, maybe you don't. But if you look for like a wick bottom through it and then maybe the higher low, something a little more nuanced where you're not just anchoring yourself to that raw number. That's what I would try to do when you get those pre and post market zones. It's not always going to be the most simplistic trade out there for you to utilize, but you can definitely get out of the way when the floodgates open up. Now the 19 short, I feel like that's a little bit low-hanging fruit and was going to be a good one one way or the other. But that support level that you get put in the aftermarket, it's not going to be the easiest one in the world. All that said, I think you've got to be using those to your advantage. And to give you one more example here with maybe an obvious one, and that's going to be Fisker. Now, obviously, an extreme event happened here, and you should only care about pre- and post-market action if there is an extreme event. In this particular case, Fisker is that candle essentially going bankrupt. You know, they're looking at their options for bankruptcy and what they're going to be able to do, so that's going to be bad news. It's going to gap to the downside. It's going to be complete disaster right at 4 o'clock on this candle. It's a 15-minute. There is a recovery to about 22 cents. And you know exactly what I'm going to get at here. Recovery to 22 cents, support at 17. So what are your key prices? 22, 17. And if you come into the day, now obviously I could show you there or I could show you here in our trading platform. 17 breaks at the open and then right away turns into a resistance level. And it's not just any resistance level. That same bottom in the aftermarket where there was support, when it turns to resistance, there was actually an iceberg seller that broke briefly and then came right back, another iceberg seller. And then look at it hold the line exactly at 17 before falling. Now, if it breaks out here, probably room all the way up to that top level at 21, right? You want to step away from it and don't do anything unless you're going long into the 21 level. So what you do have are levels to work off of that can give you confluence on your trades. If you look at pre and post market, you don't have to trade at 4 a.m. to benefit from price action that happens at 4 a.m. You don't have to try to take entries post market when something has earnings to make money off of the levels that are generated. If you have the patience, and if you have the observational skills and you're willing to wait for some confluence, then you can make these trades and you're going to have a little bit more confidence because you know it's not just that I'm seeing a support or resistance at 10 o'clock. Well, guess what? Someone was making a market at that price at 4:30 and 5 o'clock on some volume on news, or maybe at 4 or 5 a.m. when the early traders were trying to get a jump on the market. So that's your lesson of the day. Don't necessarily have to trade pre and post market to make money off the pre and post market. Use it to your advantage.
Another edition of Hotlines with Neil. No. Another edition, a great edition of Neil's lesson of the day. Thank you very much, Neil, for that. I'm in a futures position here. I'm taking the cues. I'm looking for a hold of this general area of 18,250 or thereabouts. Because number one, it's a 50-point level off which we bounced earlier. So that's number one. Number two, it's it's support level 1 on my pivots. I'm talking about this area over here. So, you know, it's not exactly the area off which we bounced last time. The closing prints here were at 32, not necessarily 50, but we are putting a bit of a bottom over here. So I was seeing if I can scalp something. We're going to use the cues here to kind of achieve that end. We're long 45s. Let's wet our beak here up in the 60s area if we can get that print, and then maybe we'll run up a little bit more. Okay, so we got that print. All right, let's let this one run up a little bit more. We're about 20 pennies in the money off this monster. We're going to let it run and see what we get. But that 18,250 or thereabouts is the level that I like for support on the future. And I don't remember who it was, but I promised you that I would look at the futures. Now, clearly, we were doing quite well in the pre. We were above 18.4. Then that PPI print comes in at 8:30, sends us down a bit, and then we kind of consolidate sideways a bit. We start doing the wick shimmy dance south of 18.4. That should have put you on alert that it might be a bit of a negative day when we're doing the wick shimmy dance from the south side, not from the north side. We're rejecting that 18.4 level. Then the bell rings and all hell broke loose. We headed down aggressively through 18.3 like it didn't even matter. Look at the break through 18.3. It doesn't even slow down. It's not until we get to 18.2 that the breaks start being pumped a little bit here, and we get a bottoming tail candle, and we make our way back above 18.3 only to zigzag. So for the moment, it's about an 18.250 to 18.3 range, all right? That is until we can break and hold above 18.3 on a closing basis, right? Not these perfunctory wick shimmy dance things. No, we're looking for a closing basis on the, well, I chart on the 5-minute, and ideally I'd want another higher high. Right now, we have a slew of lower highs and lower lows. Look at that downward channel that we're putting in here on the 5-minute level on the future. And just adjust this. So downward channel right now is zigzagging a little bit. We'll see what we get right now, but wet my beak on some profits there. Let's see what the rest breaks it down.
Yeah, no wick shimmy dancer Sharif on the future right now. Waiting for that closing level print. Yeah, of course. Also, really interesting super chat here. Thank you so much to Patrick Riley for that $2 super chat. RIDEQ ticker just changed to new ride. NRDE, no news. Let's pull up NRDE. Also, I did look into this company. This is Lordstown Motors Corporation. I don't know why they changed their ticker, but lots of ongoing stuff happening with this company, okay? Thursday, February 29th, 2024, they're charged by the SEC for misleading investors about their flagship EV. They're an EV company. They also filed for bankruptcy in 2023. NRDE having a bit of a rough go, but I can't tell if this ticker change is already in effect. Let me... So it says it is. I'm not, it's on the OTC. That's why I can't see NRDE. But yeah, thank you for letting us know about that, Patrick Riley. And what an interesting company. Too bad I can't look at the chart.
This is yelling pandemic all over. I can't tell you how many times I used to see that. It was on my my EV watch list. I took it off. Yeah, I took it off.
It got exiled.
Yeah, it got removed. And Fisker's about to come off too, soon.
Yeah, Fisker's a bit of a, that's all, I just have to make that face. Also, thank you so much to the Piper for calling out this range for me on Dell. I'm always on the lookout for range trades, and so the Piper was mentioning this one. I like this. It gives you about 30-cent range. That's honestly all I need right now in a market that is pretty much decidedly not rangy across the board here, so I do like this look on Dell. If we could take this just shy of 106, I'd be pleased as punch. What I'm more interested in, though, is taking this range from the downside. I think that, to me, is a little bit more interesting, especially because we're down on the day. But I like this movement, and if we can get it, although the lower highs are making me slightly nervous, I'm happy with it. If we get below, we're going to get this about 10 pennies. If we get decisively below 105.60, I'm out. Au revoir. Also, I've set out Kyle Burdett because I was seeing him in the chat talking about how Nvidia could rally to 874 and then give up the ghost, and it did. That is what it did. We got to 874 in Nvidia, and then Nvidia took a little bit of a siesta. So move down here. We're gonna have to see if we make a new lower low, but yikes is all I have to say on that. How goes the Qs trade?
It's good, it's good. We wet our beak there through the break of 65. It made its way up to 80s, and now it's coming right back down. So it looks like it might be a dead cat bounce. We'll try to pack our patience and see whether we're just getting this support area volatility right back up into the 60s we go. But what really gave up the ghost, not really the future, but more like Apple. Obviously, Tesla gave up the ghost a lot, but we were looking at the volume weighted average price on Apple, and we tried to get into this trade multiple times over here to get cut up, right? And the reason we were looking at that 173.25 on AAPL was because of this candle and that candle and the volume weighted average price, all of which converge into that one area at 173.25. But down goes Apple after having multiple higher highs and higher lows on the day, even breaking into local highs here at 174 and a third. Not to be, as this one is headed down, bouncing though off the 200 period moving average on the 5 with a bit of a hammer candle forming now at the $0.50. I'm talking about 172 $0.50. So we'll have to see what's left in store for Apple and whether maybe we can get a rejection off that 173.25 in the same way that we tried to get a bounce. So we'll pack our patience there. There goes the futures, baby, up into the 90s. Now we're 50 pennies in the money on the triple Qs. Let's see how far we can go up on this name, the Fuge, holding 18,250, and I'm playing that bad boy vis-a-vis the Fuge because, well, I've been taking shellackings as of late on the MNQ, so I'd rather not get shellacked today, but maybe I should have taken this trade on the MNQ because this one's going, baby. This one's good. I'm also looking at Softy here at Dara. Softy is making nice moves here.
Ooh,
It's doing things, as you like to say. Let me just bring in the side chart over here. What's going on with this thing? All right, we can bring it in. There we go. Look at what Softy's doing. It's finding a nice little VWAP bounce in the same way that we wanted Apple to bounce off the volume weighted average price. Softy holds 424 like a dang glove, and that would have given you $1 in the money because now it's printing 424.95. So great look here on Softy. It's up big on the day, man. It's up 2 2/3. I didn't send you that video. Oh, I have to send you this video. Okay, so there's a video going online. The Chilean Nightmare talked to me about it today. I sent it to Brendo last night. It's a robot collaboration with OpenAI and some other company. I forget the name of the company. And this thing is a dang genius, man. He gets it to wash dishes, pass him food. He tells him, pass me what's edible on the table. And the robot looks and he sees multiple objects and then he sees an organic apple.
No,
and then he passes him the apple and then the guy asks him, how come you passed me that? And he's like, well, that's the only edible thing on the table. Like it's getting more intelligent. We're close. I don't know how close we are to AGI, obviously, but this thing was very smart. I want to go ahead, Neil. Neil's gonna mic up, baby. Neil's gonna mic up. He's coming in hot. I better be ready for some Neil hot lines here. All right, I'm getting out of this trade.
It's not nice hot lines.
There. Go ahead, Neil.
You said he had passed him an organic apple. What is it, as opposed to what kind of apple?
A plastic apple.
Apple, I mean, like an apple is
like
organic
a fake, like
by
a decoration
definition.
apple. You know what I mean,
I'm just
right?
saying.
Yeah. Do you think he would have known the difference between an apple and an apple fritter? Ooh. He would. As I hit the flatten button at Dara, the Fuge popped up another 30 cents. Nice move here off 18,250 on the Fuge. I literally got bottom wick on this trade. This makes me feel really good because I got that 438, excuse me, 40 or thereabouts. I actually got it south of 50, and this thing is on its way up. Loving this trade here on the Qs. Maybe I should do this a little bit more often so that I don't absolutely get rinsed on the MNQ, but this was a good trade. I took it out a little too early. Maybe I should change these outs here because I don't think people can see these outs. Why are they showing yellow? Short sell. Oh, I have to flip this one to purple. Okay, so I'll send this to you while I do this, Adair.
Yeah, no worries. Also, I have to apologize. Thank you, Kyle Burdett, for pointing this one out to me. So it was actually Frank Boso, I looked back and saw in the chat, who called Nvidia to 874 and then selling back off. So my apologies. There are lots of names in the chat, and I am just trying to furiously read them all. But thank you to everybody for being a great participant. Also, we are rejecting, again, at the micro, like, you know, obviously the micro ranges are made up by me and they are useful pretty much only to me. But it is interesting how I feel like they are giving some levels. I think I might need to be respecting them a bit more because I spent all this time drawing them all out. I like this 878. Let's see what we do here. Also, like I said, I was shouting out earlier the Piper for pointing out this Dell range. Took a little bit while for us to get running on that, but we are running a little bit. We're a couple pennies away from my first fill. I wanted to get out midway through the range because we're a little bit slower than anticipated, and also I feel like, you know, slightly petering out a little bit on this, and because the range is so tight, I wanted to ensure there were some profits made. So let's see if we get that mid-80s fill here, saving a piece of the dream at 106. Also, Bears vs. Bulls saying shout out Whole Foods on that organic apple comment, which I very much enjoyed. Also, Ramin was sending us this video earlier too about that AI assistant guy on YouTube. What was this? There was Devin, the first AI software engineer. It was pretty funny. One of the top comments in that video was, imagine getting fired for an AI named Devin, which I thought was pretty funny. But all respect to everyone named Devin. It's just a really weird thing to name your AI.
No, but like, I don't even want to laugh at people losing their jobs for AI.
No.
Because I just have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to be a thing.
Yeah, I wasn't trying.
Yeah, I'm talking about myself. Okay. I'm talking about myself. Yeah, I was giggling there that the guy, you know. But, you know, in all reality, I think that, say that again, go back to the barter system, says Ram. Ram, I sent you the video of the robot guy. I know you already have it because you were watching it today. If we can show a quick clip of that, just so that we can, the viewers know exactly what I'm talking about. The company that actually made the robotics is called Figure 01, and it's a collaboration with OpenAI. So it's Sam Altman's crew there. It's just not no Joe Schmo doing this, baby. AI, it's a case of Sharif being accurate accidentally. In what case you mean? What are you talking about? Neil, Robert, technically some apples are GMO. Those are not organic. I got you. Okay. There's organic and inorganic chemistry. I'm assuming maybe that also applies to apples. So. Say that again, Neil? No, the robot can't tell what's non-GMO. And you know, the whole thing of why I said this, there it is. Okay, so there's the dude. He's the guy from either OpenAI or that Figure 01, and he's asking the robot, see how he's got like the dishes there and stuff, and then he passes him the apple right there, right? And then, you know, he gives him a whole bunch of other stuff. He's asking him questions. You can't hear the dialogue that goes back and forth. Suffice it to say that the robot doesn't respond right away. It takes him a second or two, so he's not like a human where you get an immediate response. But look at how dexterous he is. That's number one. Number two, I mean, he's obviously quite intelligent, and we're going to have to see how this all works out. But this is the real deal here, guys. This was not green screen. It was not CGI. It was nothing like that. This is the real deal being released by OpenAI. If you guys want to go ahead and watch the video, just search OpenAI robot, I guess. That'll come up. But that is the real deal there. What do you got there with Dell? I see a range.
I do, yeah. Also, I love that you called the robot dexterous. I have to say, I really enjoyed that. Also, that guy looks so intense. Like, he looks more intense than the robot. The robot's like chilling, and the guy's like, robot. Dude, I haven't listened to the dialogue. I'm making that up. But so this Dell, I have to say, I'm very emboldened. We go to that 105.60, and I'm about ready to press sell, and it bounces right back up. And I'm like, Dell, if you're going to keep behaving in a range like way, I might trade you more often. You might be a permanent fixture on my side chart. You might be taking out Lily. No, I'm joking. But I do like this look on Dell. Like I said, that the range is getting smaller, so I'm going to have to be a lot scalpier, and we're going to be trying to get everything out right about now. I think we should hopefully be getting filled within a couple pennies. Like I said, my strategy, much like that of Michael Scott in The Office, sometimes you have to react, adapt, readapt, act. But in all seriousness, you know, I call it scalpulation. I have a plan. If the book makes me switch up that plan a little bit, so be it. So I do like this, but like I said, these slightly lower highs are making me cognizant we could have a bit of a flat bottom break. We're very much down in the day with Dell, but thanks again to the Piper for telling me about this range. I always appreciate when people in the chat like drop some really, instead of dropping hot lines, you have hot ranges getting dropped in the chat. I got a really great square range ones from, I believe, Pillsbury in the chat, Z-Trades last week telling me about that Alibaba range, Dell today. Like I honestly, I think we have a great community, and I'm very happy to be a part of this. Also, live trading with Trader TV Live, killing it. Thank you so much, Ramin and Fabian. But I think these comments are coming from Ramin. Shout out the Jetsons. Give me her, not this weirdo robot.
So I started giggling.
What a show.
Like Ram dropping hotlines. Do you remember we have this thing on how to trade called The Lesson? I totally forgot that.
So we were getting so caught up in robots, yeah?
Yeah, we're half an hour late on The Lesson, which is fine. Today, guys, we are talking about trading psychology during periods of volatility. We're talking about volatility all week. And, you know, we've had a lot of volatile stuff today. Just go ahead and look at Tesla, right? So the way we start off here is, you know, we want to talk about the first type of, emotion that a lot of us get, and you get it right from the get-go. It's FOMO. It's fear of missing out. You see that big small cap gapper moving 300% on the day. You see Tesla tanking. You see Nvidia moving, and then you're like, I'm missing out. I'm missing out. So we've all been there, and all those emotions are valid. But the logical thing is here, don't chase every stock or hot tip or jump into trades based on pure emotion, guys. Develop a trading plan, stick to your trading plan, and wait for the opportunities that align with your strategy. You see Adara doing this every day. She scours the tickers for what is ranging. She wants to trade the range trades, and she sticks to her guns. She does it every day, day in, day out. Shout out to her. And that's what I mean by that, right? If you're a momentum trader, look for the momentum there. If you're a long trader, wait for the longs. If you're a range trader, do that. Just repeat over and over and become the best at it. But just try to stay away from the FOMO. And staying disciplined kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just saying, right? Volatility can tempt you to abandon your trading plan in obviously search of quick profits. Try your darndest to resist that urge. Discipline is the key to long-term success. We talked about discipline on that week, or during that week that we talked about trading psychology. And discipline kind of means something a little bit different when we use it in the trading context, right? It's obviously, it means many things in real life. In the trading context, it really means trying to stay away from your emotions and sticking to your trading plan and waiting for that setup to come in, that one that you were looking for. So stay disciplined here. And emotional trading, I mean, who hasn't been there? I've been there. I continue to be there. I'm not out of this emotional trading problem that I have, right? We all want to be emotionless, whether we all get there or not, or, reduce emotion probably comes down to the person. But emotions like fear and greed can absolutely cloud your judgment. Avoid making impulsive decisions based on how you feel the market will move. Rather, instead, rely on the logic and your analysis of what the charts and what the tape, what the level 2 is telling you before entering and exiting your trades. I gave the long-winded analogy of The Godfather 3 and how the Don couldn't make good decisions. I'm talking about Sonny, the oldest son, couldn't make decisions because he was always angry. He was biting his fists. He was throwing stuff around. You know what I mean? And you clouded his judgment. Don't be Sonny Corleone, all right?
Good advice.
Yeah. Acceptance of losses, also super important here. I mean, unless you're, I don't know, a deity of some sort, you're probably going to catch a loss every now and again. While trading, losses are part of the game. So make sure that you are fine with losses being inevitable, especially during volatile periods. Accept the fact that some trades will not go your way, and focus on learning from them and to improve your overall performance. And try not to dwell on any one trade after it's over. It's one trade of many. It does not mean that all your trades are going to go the same way. You need to kind of have a short-term memory for some of these losses. Again, a lot easier said than done. I talked to my old man about this, I don't know, like some months ago. And I was basically talking to him about the fact that the L's fester with me more than the dubs. The dubs feel good. You're happy. But I feel that the joy from a good trade lasts way shorter than the bad emotions that fester when you have a bad trade. And so that's kind of, I think, part and parcel of human psychology. You focus more on the bad things than you do on the good things. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when you execute a good trade, you're just doing your job, right? You're just doing what you're supposed to do as a trader. But when you have a bad trade, you kind of feel like that's not what your objective is, and you feel like you kind of failed in that way. So I think maybe that's why things fester a little bit longer with the L's than with the dubs. I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself or anybody else has that feeling, but so acceptance of loss is super important, Ram, and maintaining the right perspective on things, right? Don't get fixated on every single price movement. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. What is the price action telling you? Remember, short-term volatility doesn't necessarily negate your long-term goals, right? So you need to really put that into perspective before you get out of control there. And here are some bonus tips. Limit screen time, right? Especially if you're newer, right? Constant exposure to market fluctuations can heighten anxiety, and anxiety causes you to be less logical and more emotional, okay? Take breaks to clear your head and avoid information overload. The Katina man takes his walk and talk. The Neil puts on the headphones. You know what I mean? I post up there on the couch sometimes. I'm not sure what Adira does. I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I'm sure
Or am I? I'm not even really sure what I do.
I'm sure you'll have a coping mechanism sooner rather than later. I mean, I think you need for the stress of these markets. And focus on the process. Trust the process, as Joel Embiid says. Focus on executing your trading plan effectively rather than obsessing over the outcome of each trade. And develop a trading routine. This one really helped me a lot. I felt like at times, that I lacked a routine generally in life and even in trading. And so now I'm obsessed with the routine. Like I have to do the same thing, the same way. And Neil gave me actually a tidbit there. He's like, when someone ends up, making a big boo-boo, it's usually because they've broken their routine somewhere along the line. Like they forgot, maybe their cell phone at home, and that precipitated a whole bunch of different problems that came from that one problem that day. So try to stick to your routine, cross your T's, dot your I's, so that you have the same mentality, you have the same setup, everything is in line and nothing different on that day. And practice mindfulness, right? Techniques like meditation or deep breathing can help you stay calm, centered when the market throws curveballs your way. And just remember, guys, trading psychology is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. Being aware of your emotional triggers and implementing these strategies, you can approach the volatile markets with a clear head and a winning mindset, guys. So try to have control as best you can on those emotions, Adira.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over. That was a really fun lesson too, because I feel like you get a little bit of perspective, you get some of our takes. Yeah, Sharif posted up on the couch. I feel like that couch seems like it's been really mentally helpful. Because I've seen a lot of traders just there like decompressing, breathing. Yeah, I don't have a strategy yet. Sometimes, just kind of like rapping in my head to kind of like calm down, bring it centered. Also, I will say, being in a room that's so lively and a chat that's always so lively always kind of brings you back to earth, right? Like you're around other people, and I think that to me, that aspect of that is a bit more emotionally healthy as well. But yeah, no, I think it's a really cool lesson. I think especially given the volatility of the markets this week, all these news catalysts, PPI, CPI, jobless data, et cetera, right? There's so much going on in this market. There's also Tesla doing whatever Tesla would like to do, right? So I think in such a volatile market, it's certainly an interesting lesson to keep in mind. Also, we did get involved in the SPY. I showed up Kyle Burdett was mentioning, I'm looking to get involved at 5:15. I was watching the tape and I decided completely on my own. This was just a me decision. I liked the idea of getting involved here around these 5:14.70s because we were kind of doing something interesting around VWAP. Then the second we get in, I get in. I say we. I don't know why I said we there. Second, I get in. We kind of bounce up again. They're off that 9 EMA, but wasn't a perfect entry, but I don't mind it. I am going to get out here, though. And now the plan is going to be, if we get back to the 9 EMA, take the short in a smarter way. Take it, or sorry, not the 9 EMA. If we get back to VWAP, my teal line here around 515, I'm going to play that range short. Because as Kyle Burdett was saying, you know, we have these lower highs. It's really, I don't know, it's like one of those names, it's like you got to say both names. Maybe it's also because I'm always hearing Sharif say big Kyle Burdett, right? But I feel like it's, you can't just say Kyle. But right, no, I think that 515 rejection is strong on the SPY. I was going to add to it there, but also just how the my account works. I cannot, like, it's too big of a position for me to have that much of the SPY, so that's cool. I did try, and they were like, nah, and I was like, cool, rejected order. I'm gonna leave you be.
You can ask them to boost your buying power if you want. It's because it's a
That's
sim.
true. It's a
Just
sim.
tell them.
I might actually do that.
Wainers or Brenkels.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know, because it's on the sim too, right? So
Yeah.
it's like the computer's not going to be upset if I'm taking its money. But anyways, yeah. All jokes aside, I do like this trade. I think there's some kind of range there. And yeah, Kyle called it lower highs, lower lows, a little bit of a move to the downside.
All right,
yeah.
I just want to cover a couple of things here. The future is continuing to reject off 18.3, but it's not just doing that. It's putting in this downward channel that we just had another rejection off. So this candle over here had nothing. I did not draw that line when this candle touched it. This line was drawn before when I showed you guys we were doing a bit of a downward channel. So yet again, we move up into 18.3, and yet again, we do the wick shimmy dance from the sell side and reject, and here we go, down again. So I'm going to be looking to play the range once it makes its way down here again, just like I did last time off the Qs, baby. And, you know, I was mistaken in not taking the range trade initially off 18.3. I should have been more alive to the fact that we were rejecting off 18.3, and then there was another trade to be had here. So we'll see if this one makes its way down possibly into 18.250 or thereabouts, maybe 18.2 1/3, and then we'll look to get long on the Qs again. But yeah, below VWAP, below 18.3, the future still looking negative on the afternoon. That is, unless something changes fundamentally. Now, let's look at what is making a move. So I feel, again, a little silly. I had the long on Tesla at that 162 area. We wrote it up nice for like a 50, 60 penny winner, but look how it continued to go. So we had like that 162.80 out. This one made its way all the way up to 163.50. It's still well below the volume weighted average price, which is hanging out at 165.50. So we're $2 south of VWAP. This is the first time we've made it into the 20 period, which is the yellow solid line on my chart, since essentially 10:15 this morning, off which we rejected. So eyes on the 20 period right now for yet another rejection on TSLA. I'll be looking to see if this one can break and hold above the 20. Not just a quick wick and then see you later. No, we want to see a break and hold. And if it doesn't hold at that level, then I'll be looking at 165. Why? Because 165, we troughed out there earlier on, and that was a key area of support that we broke later. It is also just a smidge above support level 1 on pivot. So it's nice when there is confluence between those two bad boys. But first and foremost, we got to get above the 20 period in order to break this, dead cat bounce look that we're doing at the moment. So eyes on Tesla right now, as it could present you with another opportunity for a trade. What else is doing the thing here? So we're getting VWAP bounces, Adara, off the stronger Mag 7 names. I'm talking about Microsoft and I'm talking about Google, both of which they don't look identical in their chart patterns, but they're awfully similar in the fact that we made highs and then we retraced back down to the volume weighted average price and we're holding it generally. Microsoft looks like it's holding it a bit better than Google is, but what does that really matter? If they both bounce eventually off the volume weighted average price because they're both strong on the day, then this could be an interesting curl trade. In fact, I'm really thinking about getting back into Google. We saw the Katina Man take a $2 banger on this one earlier. 142 or thereabouts is where VWAP is hanging out, which is nice if you want that even dollar level to hang out with VWAP, because again, it presents itself as a bit of a better support. Say it again.
I'm long Google 141.
The Katina Man is long again, or is this a new position? 141.80, the Katina Man is long. So I happen to love that entry because it's a little bit below VWAP, and then right above VWAP we go again. 142.25 is coming in here on GOOGL, and we have an obvious area, a target area there, which is that 143 area. Multiple wicks off 143. It also happens to be just a smidge south of resistance level 2 on pivots, which is also right at that 143 level. So you love when things converge like that. I'm going to set up a dip trade on Google at 142, see if I can get a better price than what's printed right now. But I have to be cognizant of the market when I take a Mag 7 name, because if the future starts tanking, VWAP be darned on Google. It will break VWAP and I'll end up getting stopped out. Keep your eye on the future if you're going to trade a Mag 7 name.
VWAP be darned indeed. Also to pull up Fun, let's see what kind of, I think we've had a pretty fun midday show right now, and Fun is trying to have the same thing. The volume on this, though, negligible to borrow Sharifism. We're below 500,000 shares. Thank you, Neil, for putting this in the chat. Funware has filed a new patent application titled Hybrid Organizational Systems for Data Management and Tracking using a blockchain architecture. So yeah, not reacting too much here on this. Is it halted? Is Funware halted? I can't tell because I'm on the sim. Is it open? I just can't tell sometimes. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't. No, I think we're fine, probably. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. It's doing nothing. It's kind of hanging out. But yeah, thank you, Neil, for putting that out there. And keep an eye on, if you're looking for fun times, Funware may be for you, but it really would probably need to pick up some volume because the volume is very low on this name right now. Also, Jay Lee saying, Sharif and Adara, bring up Broadcom. Seems a short to me. 1270, possibly 20 or more back down. Just range daily, especially given NQ and SPY heading down. Thoughts? Yeah, let's see. Let's pull this guy up and see what the thoughts are indeed on AVGO.
Amp it.
AVG, oh boy. Yeah, I mean, to me, there's, I was trying to make, it didn't really work as a pun, but we're curling up here. To me, the only thing that suggests short, Jay Lee, is this topping tail candle at 1272. Other than that, we haven't made a lower low. But the thing is, too, I'm kind of hesitant to say wait for a lower low, because if you're looking for $20 or more, by the time you wait to make sure we have a lower low, you've already made about $10 of that move down, right? So to me, it's honestly really hard for me to kind of make a call either way in this one. We are up about 1% on the day, though, and we are curling up. The only real factors to me that suggest this could go lower, topping tail candle, and the fact that we do have the general futures heading to the downside. Also, there was this question that I appreciated that I would like to answer, and that was from Hugh Manti. Adara, what are your range trading strategies? I need to work on making better ones. I have to be really honest with you. A lot of it's me earning or learning as I go. But I like to draw what I call, as of yesterday, micro ranges. This is my second day using this strategy. I found it helpful, pretty helpful so far. Basically, just drawing levels that the stock has found interest in and just finding ways to play it. So we had Nvidia, we had that bounce and then resistance off that 889-esque area. Then I noticed we were kind of making lower highs and lower lows with that 886 kind of being an interesting area. So then we start trying to play that range. First short entry doesn't work, then we try to take it long off the bottom, then we go short off of it, right? Then, as we come into new areas, we find new ranges developing. I sound like a science teacher. I just find range trading really cool. So I get involved again at that 880 or 879 area, sorry, because I notice, look, we're continuing to have these kind of wicks up into my previous range zone of 882, but we can't fulfill them. That's when I take the short. We take it short down into the bottom of that range about 8. Well, I was trying to go for 877. We got 878. That's okay. Sharif is pumping his fist, so I guess damp it is happening on the NQ. But yeah, I just find a strategy that works for you. And I find for me, my range trading strategy is just drawing ranges that even if they don't make sense to anyone else, they make sense to me. But something's making sense to Sharif. How is that going?
I'm loving this range on the future today, Derek. Short 439.10 covered. There, 438.75 again on the triple Qs. It's ranging, guys. It's really showing you that it's hanging out in between this this downward channel today. And yeah, there's levels. It's not just a channel. Essentially, it's 18.3 to the high side, and so far it's been incrementally lower, though. That's the thing, right? So initially we bottomed out at 75. Then we bottomed out at 63, 2/3, so 3/4, 2/3, and now half. So every little bit seems to be that 2/3, 3/4, half, 1/3 level. We'll see if it makes its way back down into 50, or maybe this time 1/3, right? And 1/3 happens to be where support level 1 is on pivots, and it's a general area from which we held up in the morning. So please, as punch, tickled pink As this new, Sean and Neil are going to kill us, by the way. I don't think they really like any of these.
Phrases?
Yeah. Because I always see them like cringe a little. Anyway, took this bad boy, flat bottom break, whole dollar level break down there. Got bottom wick so far right now on the triple Q. So we'll see if we can get another trade into this bad boy if it starts going right back up. Right, because we're anticipating that it might bounce off 18.2 1/3, essentially because it's been bouncing off 3/4, 2/3, half, now 1/3. Let's see, and then if that's the case, we'll take it back long again. So we'll see exactly what we get on this bad boy. The other thing though that I'm keeping my eye on, TSLA. I have to keep my eye on this. It's a bit of a mean reversion trade. I'd like the rejection of whatever level this is going to bounce off. I was initially positing it might be the 20 period, right? But since that time, it's broken through the 20 period. And what else has changed is that the 10 EMA is now pointing northward, right? And the 20 EMA is now lateral. It is, horizontal. So I'm thinking maybe the winds of change may be coming, at least on the short-term basis. So now I'm looking at that 165 level. I like that 165 level because we bounced off it initially, and then the second time around we broke it. It also happens to be support level 1 on pivots. It's also the 50 period currently. The 50 period may not be there once we make it up into 165, but we'll see if there's confluence between those three factors or not, Adair. But I'd like Tesla short on a pop, but into a key level. I'm not gonna jump into it here, unless that is, of course, it rejects off the 20 period like it may. We still haven't really broken the 20 period decisively by any standard. So we'll see what we get here on TSLA, but we'll continue to watch this.
Yeah, congrats on that QQQ trade. It's a nice little look there. And I know you were pleased as punch to get that trade. I can vouch for it. But yeah, I will say too, I kind of even pulled up the Qs and started drawing little ranges because I think this rejection there, you're right, it's like weirdly thirds. It's kind of thirds that we're seeing these rejections. But yeah, I think from a micro perspective, that 439, by micro, I mean micro range, not microeconomic or macroeconomic. I do like this 493. Let's see, we can kind of get going into 439 on the Qs. If you could get even 439 to 438.83, that could be an interesting look. Kind of wait and see, though. I don't have really as much of a read on this. I am not the futures trader. I know, Sharif, you're all over it in the futures. I trade them a little bit less. I am in this Microsoft trade. I have drawn the ranges. As we can see, I liked the idea of this lower highs, lower lows. And now it looks like Microsoft's like, oh, joking, we're going to bounce off this previous area of support. So I might have misinterpreted this chart. That's okay. If we break decisively above this earlier kind of peak around this 425, 45 area, we're going to have to get out. I am ready to leave part of this position around the bottom of that range, and I have no problem kind of entering and exiting as we go. I have no reason to leave yet, so I'm going to stay for the time being. Also, speaking of my questionable abilities with futures, I did take that SPY short. I got out, took a cool less than 10 pennies. Appreciate that, but I don't know if that sound is warranted there. I remember one person was saying once the 10-cent club, and we were partying up in there.
Kept mocking
so I'm
us.
going to have the 7-cent club. Thank you, much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, honestly, obviously could have stayed in here. My issue was I had a bad point of entry. I love this.
Yes, we have a lot that I haven't been using as of late. We're gonna get to using some of them. I'd like some of the sounds that the Chilean Nightmare has been using there. He's got the Randy sound. He's got the crickets, the booing. We need some clapping like the Compound has. I like the Compound clapping one. The dime time. Okay. Well, I'll get those numbers off you later, Chilean Nightmare, because I want those on the stream deck over here. I think they've got a great place. Guys, I'm watching Softy. We're holding that 424 VWAP level on Softy, and here comes a new high. I'm looking at this 425.50 right now. Microsoft has been the big boy on the block on the day, 2.5%. And now it's looking at coming back into highs. Where are highs? Well, hanging out at the doorstep of 428. 427.82, technically HOD. Softy looks the most bullish. Softy and Google look awfully bullish together. They're both up over 2% on the day. Well, Goog is up 2%. Google is 1 3/4. So I'm looking at weaseling some sort of trade here on one of them, whether it's Softy or Google. But I like the look of their jib.
Oh, the jib?
The jib. Yeah, Microsoft's jib is good at the moment. Well, unless we can get something better than where it's currently printing. Ideally, you know, you want something in that 424 mid-range because this thing moves dollars at a time. So I don't want to be punching in mid 425s or low 425s and have this thing retrace to 424 against me, because it can. That's where the volume weighted average price is. And so I ideally like to set up a trade in the lower end of this range over here and try to get filled. In fact, that's exactly what I'll do. So what we'll do is we'll set up a trade at 424 and 2/3. I'll send it to you, Adaro, as I put it in.
Yeah, that makes a lot that's a really smart idea. That's what I should have done on this Microsoft instead of trying to go for a flat bottom break. And it's like, Adaro, you don't even really trade that way. Instead, it is moving up. And I think that the bottom of this range at 525, where I entered the short, would have been a much better area for a long. So best of luck. We need to come up with a phrase for trading that's not best of luck, because you don't want to wish luck with trading, right? You want to best of skill, good skill. That's not a good one, but we'll come up with one.
We'll figure something.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, so I did get out of the short because we broke above that area. And then, of course, we get top wick, and then it continues to kind of curl down here. So we're going to have to wait and see. If it holds that 425, that could be, I don't want to steal Sharif's, I don't want to cop Sharif's style here, but I do like the idea of this 425 range, playing it correctly, because I did not play it correctly. But that's why we don't do revenge trading. We do avenge trading. We do not John Wick the stock. We say, hey, Microsoft, let's be pals. Let's take this crazy ride to the upside together. So I might have to do that handshake deal with Microsoft. We're going to have to wait and see what occurs. Honestly, yeah, don't have a read on much now. Nvidia, kind of topping and trading. There is still some kind of play off of the micro ranges, specifically that 877 has been remarkably spicy, 877 to 879. So I need to keep a better eye on Nvidia. Thomas Johnson, may the trade be with you.
I like that.
I like that one. I think I might steal that from you, Thomas Johnson. Other thing I'm looking at too, Sam Yip was mentioning Micron in a bit of a range. Yeah, I would say so. The Micron one I feel like is moving a little bit more slowly, but there's a 1 cent spread. There is some kind of range happening here between 92 and 92.30. I'm going to have to keep my eye on this. Is Microsoft being nice to you?
It's not. It's still hanging above 425, but we want to shout out the pawns, the Fawns, Ponzi Fondy, shout out to you, my man. I don't have any Lambo trades today, but the Katina man had a bunch of them. Can we hit the Lambo thing, Katina man, there for the Pawns, the Fawns? He's always asking for the Lambo trades, and some days, you know, he's less ambitious. He asks for the Honda Civic trades, so that's fine. While we have Honda Civic trades on this side of the desk, the Lambo trades are going to have to be on the other side or back there. So we'll keep your eyes on that. Shout out to you, Pawns. One of the OGs in the chat, no doubt. So we'll keep eyes on that, Adara. Sideways movement here on a Softy. Sideways movement on Google. The Future, though, headed back down. Keep your eye on 50 points. I'm talking about 18,250. And keep your eye this time at the 1/3 level, 18,237, 33, thereabouts, somewhere in the 18,230s. Okay, 18,230s, excuse me. Why? Because that's where we've been channel downing on the Future. So while I tell you about that, let me also tell you about this. I think Aaron and Joanna Brewster in the chat were saying Apple flat bottom. And you're not wrong. Look at how many wicks we got into this 172 1/3 earlier. This range is from 9:45 till about 10. All right. We haven't been at this level. Bless you, Ty.
Bless you.
I gotta give you the machine gun moniker over there. All right. Ram, let me show this chart. Thank you. 172 and a third is where we were wicking. We were doing the wick shimmy dance from the north side on that. Now we're right there. Now we're looking at giving up the ghost on that level, but we have this gnarly downtrend here to support us on our move down. So Apple was trying to stay above the 200 EMA on the 5. That's the dark blue line on my chart, but it looks like it's giving up the ghost at that level. So we're going to have to see what we're going to do here on Apple, because there could be a trade to be had on this, no doubt about it. So keeping an eye there. Oh, dang. And this is the missed trade. Look at this on Tesla. I kept saying 20 period. I kept saying 20 period, and I got busy with something else, and I missed that trade. That's $1. That's $1 right there. That 163.50 down to 162.50. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to trade and talk and do all this stuff at the same time. But maybe I can help myself by using alerts, right? So we'll keep eyes on that. All right, I'm Phil Softy. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, I am also, you have a much better cost basis than I do on Softy. I did get involved in Microsoft at 425s. I was trying to take it up into 425.50s. Microsoft was like, cool, you wanted this for the short, now we're gonna go down. So I find with Microsoft, I don't wanna make assumptions, but I have found with Amazon, I've always said the second I get involved, Amazon will break out at whatever level it's been holding all day. Microsoft, it's a little bit different with Microsoft. What I find with Microsoft, and not trying to assign things to stocks, but what I've noticed with Microsoft is my direction on it is often incorrect the first couple of times. Well, have a look, I get involved, the vibe is wrong, I get out, then I go in the direction it now seems to be going, and then Microsoft's like, you were right the first time. So for me, my timing with Microsoft seems to be a little bit slow right out the Bill Gates. So we're gonna have to work on getting that a little bit more immediate there on the timing. We're holding up this 60 area. If we fail this, like, around the 60s, I'm gonna have to say sayonara. Yeah, definitely may the trade be with you, Sharif, because your entry on this is fabulous, and your instincts with Softy seem to be much better than mine, which are a little bit flailing. But I will be out of this before we start the lesson one more time, so gonna give this a few minutes. Softy, if you'd like to hold up here, that's great. If you don't, but please make up your mind. Also, okay, I have to get out of this. We're gonna say au revoir to Microsoft. It was fun while it lasted, and it was deeply stressful while it lasted, and it's no longer lasted. I'm out of this trade. Yeah, what a ride, Microsoft. My weakest name of the day, but we're still up on the day. We're still staying positive, and where's the next trade? As we often say here, shout out to Obi. But yeah, Microsoft has been really, really bamboozling. It did look like it was going to be a long while I was in the short, and then it was like, oh, should have stayed in the short position. It's all good in the hood. We're gonna have to wait to see what happens next. X Sing would like to know what Sean's having for lunch. A salad.
Can we show them? Oh, there it is.
Egg salad is on top. Thank you, Sean, for that. I know Sean has the What's for Lunch segment, so I thought that's a nice little update. X Sing asking about that there. Also, I'm happy to report not spicy chicken. It's not. I noticed, yeah. Fabian saying that it is not, in fact, spicy. I concur. There's a nice little tortilla there. I've had like a couple bites, but yeah, good times. Fabian and Sean showing you both sides of the lunch spectrum here today at Day Trade, Real Trading, at Real Trading, where we make real trades and I make sim trades as I learn to trade. Yeah, I will let Sharif Microsoft.
No, you can start the lesson. It's
I was going to start the
right?
lesson. Yeah, well, I was going to say I will let Sharif Microsoft while I do the lesson.
Oh, sounds good.
So there we go. I should have finished my thought there. But yeah, so trading psychology using or during volatility. So we talk a lot about fear of missing out. There was a really fun poll there in the chat, because really this is a huge thing you're going to have when there's volatility. There's all these big moves, and with big moves come big misses and big heartache. But really, volatility can be a roller coaster ride for your emotions, and there's some ways to stay cool, calm, and collected when the markets heat up. You don't want to chase every hot stock, and you don't want to trade an emotion here, right? You want to make sure, I was talking yesterday, I was reading that there was this woman, Melissa Brown, who's this analyst, and she was talking about noise versus signals. Noise is all the stuff that you're hearing the market saying. Signals are the actual concrete reasons to enter a trade. So you could maybe use that to combat some FOMO. Make sure that you're sticking to your trading plan, as Sean talked about yesterday during his walk and talk and stock, and you want to wait for opportunities that align with the strategy you have. You also want to make sure you're staying disciplined. Volatility can tempt you and lure you to abandon your trading plan in search of quick wins, but you want to resist that urge. Discipline is going to be the key to long-term success. I'm a couple power. Oh, there we go. Now we're on emotional trading. Emotions like fear and greed can really cloud your judgment. You want to avoid making impulsive decisions based on how you feel the market will move, and rely on logic and analysis before entering or exiting trades. As Odyssey Fight said earlier, trade with the chart, not with your heart. And I really agree. You also want to make sure you accept losses. Losses are going to be inevitable in trading, especially during volatile periods. So just accept that some trades aren't going to go your way. You have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, and focus on learning from them to improve your future performance. And you also don't want to dwell on the trade after it's over. It's one of many trades, and it doesn't mean that all your trades are going to go the same way. In the words of one Obi, where's the next trade? And that's something I'm really trying to figure out and learn from, as we all learn to trade here. You also want to make sure you're maintaining perspective. Zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Don't get fixated on every single price movement, because there's going to be more fish in the sea, and there's a whole market full of lots of little fish jumping around for you to trade. Short-term volatility, also worth keeping in mind, does not negate your longer-term trading goals. If you're in a swing and one day the stock goes a little bit awry, as long as it's within your trading plan, take a deep breath, look away from the computer, unless you are Ramin, as she said. She cannot limit screen time when she is running a stream, and just keep going. Bonus tips as well to keep an eye on. Limit screen time, again, unless you are Ram and Fabian. Constant exposure to market fluctuations can heighten anxiety, so you want to take breaks to clear your head and avoid information overload, which is really easy to get when you're interacting with the markets, let me tell you. You also might want to focus on the process. If you're focusing on executing your trading plan effectively, you can avoid obsessing over the outcome of every single trade. Develop a trading routine, also really important. You want to make sure you have a consistent routine, as Sharif was saying. A consistent routine in life can be really important. And just ways to deal with your losses. You know, if your routine is going to the couch to recoup after an L, maybe stick with that. So it's really been really fun having the couch on the trading floor, I have to say. But yeah, basically just finding ways to keep yourself grounded during volatile periods. As you know, we have Neil in his headphones, Sean in his walk, lots of traders in couch, and I'm still coming up with a plan for myself. But also you want to make sure you're practicing mindfulness. Techniques like meditation or deep breathing or just taking a moment to zone out and then come back, that can really help you stay calm and centered when the market throws curveballs, as it is wont to do. And above all, you have to remember, trading psychology is a skill that takes time and practice to develop and hone. And by being aware of your emotional triggers and implementing your strategies, you can approach volatile markets with a clear head and a winning mindset. So that is volatility in these here markets. What a time.
Yeah. All right.
How are you doing?
I'm still holding this Microsoft long. My line in the sand is going to be the break of VWAP. The break of VWAP on my chart is just a little bit below that 20 area, 20 penny area. It looks like, you know, the future doesn't want to hold up at these levels. So if we break, we break on Softy. But, you know, I chose a strong name. One of the strong names to go long. We had a winning trade on Google. We thought maybe we'd get into Softy here. Anyway, about 10 pennies out of the money, or no, 10 pennies out of the money right now on Softy. But I needed to hold the volume weighted average price. Doesn't, that's going to be my line in the sand. We got to draw the lines somewhere. But the future now is below 18,250. So as I'm out of Softy. As it broke below 18,250, on its way down into that, I believe, that 18,2 1/3, like we talked about last time. I mean, this is the level that we've been bouncing off with respect to this downward channel that we've had over here, right? So if you extend out these lines, it's still kosher that way, and then this one as well. So this takes us down into around, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we hold this pivot area over here. This has been the area that we keep bouncing off initially, but the downward channel means that we typically get a lower low. And the reason I got a little frustrated there is because, you know, I had an option. I had Google or I had Softy, off which to take on VWAP. One is going up and one is going down. 50-50 shot, right? We had a trade on Google. Like, thought maybe I'd take Softy this time around. Softy breaking down now below 424 on its way down, looks like to the 50-period moving average. All the while, Google is putting in higher highs. So annoying, having chosen the wrong one, but that's part of trading. So you got to be ready for that, ready to move on. So looking, my next trade is going to be on the futures. If we get that bounce off the bottom down trend line over here, I'm looking for that bounce again, give or take, in this area, and then we'll look to get long on the Qs, which we already have loaded up. In fact, I'm probably just going to set up a resting order to get long there. Now, let me also tell you about this stock that just came into my purview, STI. This one is a multi-day runner, and it started its small cap gapper life on the day south of the volume weighted average price. In fact, south of yesterday's closing price. This thing locked in yesterday at 125. Started the trading day at 90 pennies. So south of a buck. This thing's made its way up to 205. So even though this is only up 48% on the day, it is up 110% since the open, right? And so that's what I'm looking for. That's why I have two columns always on my scanner. The percent change on the day, which is from 4 a.m. onward. That's when you can start trading in the pre. And the 9:30 change. What has it done since the bell rung, right? Because that's when a lot of orders get executed. Like all the orders on the New York book, none of them print till 9:30. And if you've ever looked at the New York book, it's stacked, right? So a lot of orders can't participate in the pre-market. So that's why I have those two columns there. Anyway, STI. Oops. Let's talk about the technicals on this bad boy. It's putting in lower highs right now, but it's also putting in higher lows. So we have a bit of a compression pattern north of VWAP on a stock that's up 42%. So if you listen to the textbooks, they say compression patterns resolve in the direction of the original trend. Well, the original trend is to the high side. So let's see if we do that here, right? We've got the higher lows. You can see that off that 205 rejection. And we've also got the lower highs off that 205 rejection. And we've got the higher lows owing to all these bounces here, namely off the 50-period moving average, it looks like. So we should probably bamboozle some sort of trade here on STI. My line in the sand has to be the volume-weighted average price. It's nice when that jives with the 10-penny level, which is $1.70, right? VWAP pointing right now at $1.70. We're trading at $1.78. The great majority of the prints have all been north of the 50 period, so I would be a little bit concerned if it does break below the 50 period, which is at that $1.75. So STI showing up late to the party today, but better late than never, I guess. We'll see if we can bamboozle a trade on this small cap gapper, as we haven't not traded a small cap gapper on the day. Maybe STI will be the first of the day. So watch in there. What's up, Katina Man? The Katina Man is also fighting Microsoft long. So I think the Katina Man was looking at, we were jiving on that. And I hate to point this out, but Google is on the way up. So I feel like, for having chosen the wrong one. And that's on me, right? So we'll continue to watch, see if Softy here does the move back up above VWAP. But look, guys.
Apple.
Yes. What the
There's
hell just happened? Go, Adair, don't even let me finish.
Okay, sorry, I'm
don't
bad
even
at
let
that.
me finish. You gotta interrupt me when that happens.
Sorry, I put it in the chat as well. I'm seeing this on Benzinga, but Bloomberg reporting that Apple has bought the startup AI, Darwin AI, as part of its race to add features, and Apple's added dozens of Darwin AI staff to its division. Looks like, though, as quickly as we had that move up, we're kind of trickling back down here. We bought back towards VWAP. We did see a little bit of rejection around VWAP, but also around that top and turn area earlier. So that was a massive move up if you got that long. And it's interesting, too, we had a little bit of consolidation before that pop. Looks like the biggest volume candle on the day from what I'm seeing. Yeah. Maybe with the exception of this one we had right before the open. But certainly, I think one of the biggest move that we had here was this AAPL massive move. C-Wave saying so emotional and overreactive. Yeah, I mean, Apple, certainly that. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, next time we'll interrupt. I should have...
Who is this Darwin AI?
Darwin in the chat saying, sorry, guys, I signed a deal and had to keep quiet. Way to participate.
Attaboy, Darwin. Darwin's one of the OGs in the chat, by the way. Darwin AI, let's find out what this company does. Who is this company? Rapidly growing visual quality inspection company providing manufacturer and end-to-end solutions to improve product quality. All right. Let's find out here. They got a YouTube channel. Oh, page is not available. Okay. What's going on? Darwin AI on GitHub? No, that's not what I'm looking for there. All right. Well, we'll leave this for now. Where is this company? Darwin AI? This is in Ontario. This is in Waterloo, bro. That's a Waterloo company. Yeah. Shout out to the Neil who went to Waterloo, baby. Yeah. Are you looking at what I'm looking at? Do you want my, okay. So Darwin AI being bought up by Apple, they're a Waterloo AI company. I'm looking for some more information about them here, but it's kind of slim pickings, to be quite honest with you. Here's the X account. This account doesn't exist. All right, so everything's shut down here. Something, yeah, so they obviously did something here in anticipation of the buyout. Their Twitter account is not working. Their YouTube page is also not working. So it looks like, you know, they took everything offline in anticipation of this purchase. Okay, so we can't really find information about them. We'll see. Google's pumping up here, 142.50. Here comes Google, breaking to the high side. Look at that curl up and hold on. VWAP makes me angrier every time I look at it. No, I'm kidding. I'm not angry today. I'm actually chill today. 142.50 incoming, rejecting right now, but the future also getting that bounce up off this area that we were looking at. 18.2 and a third. I'm looking for support at this level on the future. It's been bouncing off this lower trend line over here, moving back up into the 18.3. So if we can catch it here like we caught it on the Qs last time, I'll take that trade all day. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, let's see what we get. Story of the day with all of these wild moves on the market. I did have a Tesla short. My issue was I did not take very many shares in this because I wasn't feeling burned by Microsoft, but I was just trying to, like, you know, ease back into trading after the Microsoft situation, wherein I did take a short, then was like, oh, it's a long, and I took the long, and then Microsoft was like, Adara, what are you doing? So I just need to give her a rest. We can't look at Microsoft right now, but basically just trying to contextualize this trade. I got involved because I was watching here, and we did have that rejection, which kind of coincided with the 9 EMA off 163s. Got in 163.10s. Then I was saying, you know, Adara, we'll draw our lines. If we get into 163.60s, we're going to have to leave. So we're going to we're going to add to the position if we hold it, and then we're going to leave if we get at 163.80. However, we held 163.30 like a glove, kind of kicking myself for not adding to the position. As Sharif said, you're always angry as a trader, and I'm really feeling that right now because it meant I only had one beak wetter. So I decided to leave that beak wetter at the bottom of one of my ranges here, that 162.80. But also, look what we're seeing here on Tesla. As you said, the future is kind of trying to climb back up here. So is Tesla at this area where we had some chop and churn. We had a micro range drawn there. So we might have to get involved if we continue to hold up above 162.50s. I think this could be a tasty trade, and I'm tired of talking about it, and I'd like to make some action happen. There we go. Let's see if we get filled at 162.58. I had to breathe. I was like, 162 Tesla, but Tesla is 162. If we break decisively below this 162.50s area, I'm getting out. I have to keep this very tight because it is Tesla, it is the Cybertruck, and it will go 0 to 100 or 100 to 0 in a freaking heartbeat. So I would like to not give it the opportunity to do that. We're going to be getting out some of this around 162.82s. Should we get there, then saving a piece for the dream, which is going to be 163.20. Though who knows if we'll get that. We need to be holding this range first. I might have been a bit too hasty in this, but I'm trying to, and I want to clarify, I'm not trying to like rush into trades that make no sense, but if I have lines drawn out and we're coming into these levels, I think I owe it to myself to take it as I'm learning. So that's what I'm really taking. As Sean says, a scared trader is a deficient trader. And I am trying to not be that type of trader in my life. Also, you know, we had that Apple story. With that in mind, I would like to take a moment to shout out our lovely friends and sponsors at Benzinga, because that was how I was able to have that story. The second I heard that there was that Apple news, I just got the page ready to just see that drop when it came out. And in fact, it did drop, and we did get that Apple story. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. You can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout. So that is Benzinga, and that is Tesla. We're in the 2 penny club. No, we're actually not. We're falling below now. We're basically flat. Let's see what's happening. I'm seeing some mentions of AMD losing the 20 EMA, so let's see what's happening. AMD. Yeah, AMD and its EMA are kind of in a bit of a fight. They're having a little bit of a breakup now, pulling apart from that 9 EMA here, at least what I'm seeing. I don't have the 20 yet, but I do have the 9 EMA. Bit of weakness here, not seeing any clear levels. We're at the low of day for AMD. How are the Qs going?
No, they're breaking down. So we're still continuing to fight the Qs at the moment, but they are on the way down. Looks like we're on the way down to 18.2 here. Because while we're breaking that level that we earmarked on the downward channel, it looks like it's bouncing off a little bit right now at 16s. It's probably going to be an 18.2, either break or hold. It's going to be one of the two here. Here we go. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at, and that's a big red candle that showed up here on the future, probably owing to that big red candle that showed up on Apple, but it's holding that downward downward trend line for now. So we're going to have to watch here and see when, if this turns back around. And if it does, do we go long on the Qs or what do we take long here? Because now, still positive on the Qs on the day, but I'm positive on the Qs on the day, but now I'm in negative territory, albeit very, very, very slightly negative at the moment. We could go green pretty quickly, very, very light. So we'll see exactly what we're getting here, whether or not we get a hold up at these levels. I'm keeping my eye on the side chart, which is where my future is, the future chart. But yeah, I think that the right thing to do here would probably be to wait for that 100-point level at 18.2 before you try to get a dip bounce. And I'm going to need it to prove to me this time that it's going to hold up at 18.2. That means giving up a better entry, because you're going to have to wait for it to curl, right? And by definition, waiting for it to curl means that you give up some profits, because then you get in a bit of a higher price. So watching here, 18,203.25 is technically the low on the day. We're printing 215s, 214s, or thereabouts. We'll see what we get here. SPY doesn't want to bounce back, says Yagna. You may be right, man. Killer Cam Palantir is an interesting spot near a low of day. Let's pull up PLTR. I just don't want to digress too much from what I'm looking at, because last time I digressed, I missed that short on Tesla. So I'll look quickly at PLTR, see what it's doing. At these levels, what's Palantir doing? Let's zoom out here. So downward channel for Palantir, lower highs, lower lows, catching some sort of support here at 24.15. The best print was this 24 print. Is this a real print over here? All right, I can't look at Palantir at the moment because I'm gonna have to look at the future, because I definitely want to get in if this starts curling up again. I'm gonna send it to you right now, dear.
Yeah, I mean, may the trade be with you on that.
Thank you.
Putting that together. I will look at Nvidia. Compass RX was saying earlier, Nvidia long staged, and it looks like they are now printing, so congrats to you. That 870 to 873 bounce was beauteous. I turn over and I look back and I'm like, it's already up, so congrats to anybody involved in this. I did hop out the Cybertruck because it got below my area, my out, and then the Cybertruck was like, oh, Adara, you shouldn't have left. But actually, I should have, Tesla. You broke below my area of interest, and I can't have that happening. If we do see that rejection of what, also I like that I was just casually talking to this stock. If I do see this rejection of that 162.60, which is my little my literal line in the sand here, I'm gonna maybe take this short. I do have these levels set up, so I'm gonna have to wait and see what happens here. But what I'm trying to do lately is being less directionally biased and more, how are we doing with regards to what I'm looking for with regards to these ranges. So I think this could be interesting. I think the biggest issue with Microsoft, and I've been really open about this, is trying to take less trades that aren't purely ranges. This wasn't purely a range, especially the way I wanted to play it, so I should have stayed away from it in the first place. You live and you learn and you try to make some more trades. Meta is getting rangy again. I was taking advantage of this earlier range. I did clearly get out a little bit early, but that's okay. We took some profits. I'm not gonna sit here and complain, you know what I mean? Don't cry over spilt chairs, as long as we're able to make some on here. So I did like this range. We continued to hold this range. Then we kind of end up forming a new range around 494 to about 497 area. So that's about a $3 range here. I think there is some opportunity, but the spread on Meta is worse than it was earlier today. The spread is not one I would like to really be messing around with here. It is about more than 10 cents. It's about like 20 cents. I got involved with Meta earlier today because it was about a 10 cent or less range, which is kind of more of the range I like to see on a Meta type name. But I think that's such a good look there. Yeah, congrats to Compass RX and everybody else killing it on N to the V to the D to the A. Elon is really important here, saying still be patient on buy the dip. I agree. I think it's a market where you do have to be patient. Sharif is going pamp it in his head, I'm pretty sure, because we just had that pump. I also love when you actually pump the fist, because I think it really echoes the pamp it ethos. I think it's really...
Yeah, like you have to not just say the words, but you gotta feel them.
You really
all right, well, we were getting cut up on the future, right? But I think, all I heard was a Katina Manning's walk and talk yesterday about, sticking with the guns. I mean, if you get cut up a couple of times, fine. Make sure the losses are smaller than the wins anyway. So we'll see if this one can run up. Long 87s. Let's see. We took some out there in the mid-teens, looking for a break of the quarter and a move back up. Guys, I mean, it literally is holding I mean, it's a downward channel and it's holding this line. I mean, I didn't adjust this line. This is exactly when you extend the line, this is what it looks like, right? So there is a range today on the futures, whether, it's helped your trade or not, it's there. So looking for a move up. We're holding nicely now, about 50 pennies in the money on the future. Let's let this go. The next level of resistance is going to be 18,250 on the future. We're trading the Q, so well cognizant of the fact that there could be a little bit of a difference between the levels that I see on the MNQ and the ones that I see on the future. But hopefully I'll be quick with it, and I won't suck too much. So we'll be able to maybe get that out if we hit that level of resistance. And we're coming into pivots, it looks like right now. So I think I might sit at the $0.50 or thereabouts, 438.5 or there. That's about 14 pennies, 15 pennies from where we're trading at right now. I think that that's a reasonable level off which to base. Apple is moving up. I see you, JJ. It is rejecting the volume weighted average price. So it's doing, say again, Katina Man? The Katina Man is long, 172.40 on AAPL, essentially the bottom end of that range. So 60 pennies in the money there, printing on that. Shout out to the Katina Man, putting in work, baby. What else we got? So I'm waiting for that 18,250 touch on the future, and then I'm going to use my flatten key to get out of the Qs. We'll see what we get here. Waiting for that move up, Adair.
Yeah, what a market. I mean, I think a great week for volatility. The market heard what we were talking about, and they said, sign us up. And sign up they did. Here we are. Sorry, how to trade. I always forget that we are how to trade. And Sharif just said PAMP, so he's pleased as punch. I'm in a short, so I'm a little offended. No, I'm joking. It's cool. I'm just trying to take this short here. I decided I did want to go short Tesla because now we're having a hard time reclaiming that 162.60. So I'm taking that short. We're trying to scrape it as we get to the bottom of this area here. We haven't really gotten that much lower, though. I'd like to see a little bit more oomph in this push to the downside. Also, I will be adding if we get to this 9 EMA area. That could be a nice place to add. And I will be leaving if we get to that 162.88. So basically, like I said, I've really been talking about playing these ranges that I've drawn, these micro ranges. I'll play them in either direction. Tried the long, it was wrong. Tried the short. I was going to come up with another rhyme, but I can't. We'll have to see what happens here. Try the short until we abort. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, Killer Katina, as Sharif calls him. Killing it there. Go, Sean. Yeah, this Tesla move is fun, and now Tesla's decided to be a bit more of a long here, trying to do what Microsoft did and get a little directionally bamboozling. Let's see what happens here on T to the S to the L to the A. Pan W bounce, says Renata. Let's look at Pan W. I just put Pan Q, so let's find Pan W. Yeah, this is not quite a W for Pan W. Oh, this is a range. Yeah, I totally agree with you mean there on the Pan W bounce. Renata, we did have this nice little push up off that 286. Now we're in 287s. I have been neglecting this range. What a look. Volume above 2 million. So it's honestly embarrassingly enough better volume than I've traded on Eli Lilly sometimes. The volume is here. I do not mind what we're doing here is at all. The only thing though is this range is going to be a little bit of a slower moving range. Like if I compare to the meta range, you could kind of get this in about like half an hour, 20 minutes, right? Pan W is really going to make you work for it. You have to be patient, which is, as I've said, not necessarily my strong suit, something I want to work on, but I do think that the Pan W range might be a little bit too slow moving for me. I do agree with you, Renata. Pan W has certainly bounced. We're still down in the day, but we did have that nice push back up there off that 286. Not seeing any news on this one. Yesterday, they had just reiterated rating from Stifel, but nice look on Pan to the W. There's a lot of different, Ricky Paddington wanting sound and rum. Let's look at Rumble, because I know that was one that was rumbling the last couple of days, and Sharif was involved in that name. Ooh, okay, Rumble's interesting.
Today,
Pardon?
It's down. I'm assuming because of the Mnuchin news. Did you hear about the Mnuchin news?
No.
Steve Mnuchin, he's a...
I did. Yeah,
he's trying to buy TikTok. So, I mean, it's obviously a rival to Rumble. Right?
Yeah, they're going to get into a Rumble, head-to-toe Rumble, over Rumble.
That was set up perfectly for you there. Right?
I enjoyed that. Yeah, if it sets up, I like to be able to volley it back. But yeah, pseudo double bottom here at 775, curling back up the 90 MA. I would be watching out to see what we do around that $8 area, because that could be a little bit of earlier pseudo support becoming resistance. That's the area I would be keeping an eye on. Joanna Brewster saying Meta giving me whiplash. I get what you mean. Meta's been so rangy, and this is a range I've also been neglecting, continuing to kind of pop up above that 9, or that VWAP, sorry, not the 90 MA, above the VWAP. But also to go back quickly to Soundhound for Ricky Paddington there. Soundhound, honestly pretty rangy to me. I actually might also look at this. We have that $8-esque area, then we come into 770s. Very much down in the day. I know Sean was involved in this one earlier when we had that nice movement up. Honestly, I have to say to you, Ricky, both these names look like they've taken a little bit of a nap, but I do think there are some range opportunities there.
Hang out for a little.
Also, hi, Obi. But yeah, Tesla, we got our first fill. We're gonna try to get out of the rest of this Tesla here. Sorry, hi, Obi.
What's going on, guys?
Obi.
How are you doing?
We have the Ob, the one, the Kenob gracing us with the. How are you, Ob? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm well. How are you guys doing?
What are you trading today, my man?
Oh man, I got to check the blotter because there's a few names.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Was there a trade on the Amazon?
No, I wish.
No trade on the
The
Amazon.
setup was there. The setup was there. I missed the trade. I was looking at other things, but yeah, I guess we'll talk about it next time I see you guys.
Did you see the range trade at 177 yesterday? Because I had a couple of bangers off that. How would you feel about that?
There was actually I had the trade yesterday. There was actually a nice refresher at 177, but he kept on like reloading. He lifted a little bit, reload, and then I had a couple trades off that didn't work, and then I ended up getting a bit of a short afterwards.
That's
But
nice.
It was nice, but broke out today. That was a miss for sure on my part. But yeah, I hope trading is going well for everybody.
Yes, sir. Ob1 Kenob, thanks for coming on. And you're getting a lot of love in the chat as per usual. Everyone, the fans, the Obi fans, really making it noise there. Look at the zoom. Get him, Ram. Thanks for coming on, Ob.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Obi.
The Ob, the one, the Kenob, gracing us with his presence, or otherwise known as the Amazonian, whatever you want to call him. He is more than welcome on this show anytime.
Always.
Gracing us with his presence. I just had to kind of do a little bit of a move there. But Adara, as I anticipated, we did get a bit of a rejection off that 18250 on the MNQ, and that's precipitated a big boy down move on the triple Qs. Let me show you the MNQ, because this is where I base my levels. I don't necessarily chart the Qs, guys. Look at this wick candle over here. Where is the top? Exact top, you ask? 18250 and a half. So I was off by half a point. All right, cool. That makes me feel pretty good. Didn't make too much money off it, though, but executed the trade properly and back in Greensville, baby. Didn't exactly have top wick either, but had the near the high, so I'm happy about this. But this now tells me that we're no longer fully channeling. And what by that I mean touching the upper trend line and the lower trend line. Yeah, I can do it. There we go.
Oh, I like that.
Right? What I mean is we were touching the upper trend line on here on every single ascent, save and except for this one over here. So should we expect here that an 18250 break or like top break, breakout trade would be valid? Because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections all at different times, different time segments. Those are not back to back. Off that upper trend line. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the bottom. So if the trend is to continue, then we should have a breakout trade above 18250. Let's see if we put in a hammer candle here or something that shows us some bullishness, because, well, we've been playing this short and long. I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. So if you guys have any suggestions about how to possibly play this type of trade other than just having a resting order on the north side of 18250, I mean, what I could look to do is exactly what I did prior to that, is to get something near the dip here. But I got cut up so many times trying to get in near the low end and ends up holding, and I had to give some money back as a result of that. That's the thing. So I'm trying to think about how to do this without getting cut up so many times. I could have a resting order essentially at 18.2. I mean, we have nothing left to defend. We've defended 275. We've defended 2/3. We've defended halves, and now we've defended 1/3 Katina Man. Do we defend zeros here at 18.2? Finally, I mean, we got the initial hold at 18.2 right here. What's up?
I was like, how you're talking so
Oh,
definitively.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's what I see. I got to tell you the truth. So we'll be looking out for a possible break trade here above the 250 or thereabouts on the future. Apple making another attempt at breaking the volume weighted average price. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections. Does this one right here, now breaking through 173.15, end up being the 5th volume weighted average price rejection? We're going to pack our patience and watch in case you're wondering what is causing all these bigger candles to show up on AAPL. Looks like that they will be acquiring an AI company, a Canadian AI company, baby. He had the exact same thoughts as me. From Waterloo, shout out to the Neil. That's his alma mater, baby. And yes.
I also went to that city.
Oh yes, that's right. I forgot you went to Laurier. Yeah. There's 2 universities there. Both the Katina Man and the Neil went to university in the city of Waterloo. There's a couple of universities there. It's known for its like tech. It's like essentially the tech haven of Canada. BlackBerry was located in Waterloo. RIM, Research in Motion, that was one of the famous Canadian companies. Defunct, well, not defunct, but not great now anymore. Anyway, so that is what's causing a lot of this price action change here on AAPL. And as Adara astutely pointed out, the second biggest volume candle came in at 1:05 p.m. Not typical.
No, definitely not typical. And also, I had Apple up as well because Louis Tortora saying range LePage. I like that. Thoughts on AAPL short 173 buy, 172 rinse and repeat. Here's my thing. So I had these lines drawn up before we pushed up here. I see what you mean. I think there's some kind of range opportunity. The thing I'd be really cognizant of, though, is I've already drawn like a couple levels that would be outs, and we've already kind of blown through all of them, right? And I'm sorry I didn't get to this earlier. We push above that 173, then we push above this earlier pop into 173.20. Now look at this earlier area of support that kind of became resistance, 173.35. We're knocking on the door of that too, to borrow Sharifism. We're knocking on that door. So I think Louis Tortora, if we reject here, I think there could be something, but I think it does look like Apple, especially with that positive catalyst, is trying to burst down the door. And I'm sad to see it because I think this would be a fun range if it wasn't doing that. But I have to be really honest. I do think that we're trying to make some new push back towards that 175 area. So I'd be pretty cognizant and cautious of an Apple-related trade at that time. Also, thanks again. So it's always nice to see Obi. So shout out to Obi for showing up here and saying hi. I was saying, like, I don't even know, mad respect for him for trading Amazon because Amazon is a very stressful name to trade. And I've been trying to do battles with Amazon. I've lost every time. So shout out to him, killing it. Also, Amazon actually coming into an interesting level here. Look at this 177.75 area. We pop up into it, we reject twice. Then we come up and we see a little bit of support at that 177.70. Of course, because I noticed it, now it's going to sell off. No, I'm joking, but Amazon is weird like that. But also, the other thing I want to point out too, and the reason I'm not going to get involved in this until I have more confluence, is look, we also have these candles at 177.75 we have these candles showing that buyers are getting overwhelmed by sellers. We have these wicks up, and then we close lower. So I don't want to get involved in a long yet, even though we have seen some support at this level. But yeah, I know that those candles too can be really important. I know you're talking about Tesla with regards to one of those candles here having that move down and then. So I think those can be really important. That's also why I decided to re-enter that Tesla trade. Like I said, I initially tried to go short or long here at that 162.60 area, lost a couple pennies. That's okay. You fall down, you get back up, or get back down in this case, because I was in the short, down. We got involved at 162.60. Then I took out some of this at this, I think one of my lines disappeared. But at that, oh, never mind. It was just because I was looking at previous areas in the book, that 162.30. Saved a piece for the dream around that 162 area when Obi said hi, and then I got out of the trade. So pretty happy with this. We do have that bounce pseudo double bottom on Tesla. What a ride in the Cybertruck if you've been taking it. This one's been up, down, and all around. And always a bamboozling name. I feel like I keep using that word, but it's a really fun word to use. So.
I'm ready. I mean, I'm not in a trade, so I can.
Oh, you're not in a trade?
No, I'm just looking to find out what happened to Starship, guys. CNN reporting world's most powerful rocket reaches new heights before likely breaking apart. No, I swear, that's what they wrote, Fabian. Literally, that's the headline. Yeah, I wanted some sort of confirmation. I mean, I love space, man. Anyway, watching the future as, again, we come back in to 18,250, and now we have multiple wicks into that area, all of which have rejected. However, a bit of a trend change in that we're getting higher lows. So I think we likely take out the top at 18,250. As I look as well, we're at 5,200 on the ES June contract. So I'm not saying that there has to be a confluence between the ES and the NQ, but the ES may end up holding that 5,200, in which case I think we probably curl back up here on the NQ. Well, it's not hard and fast rule, obviously, no question about that. So let's go ahead here. I think we are now breaking above, so I'm going to go long on the Qs, see if we can get a nice move, at least a mean reversion, maybe back into that midpoint in between 50 and 300. Daryl, we'll see what we get there. What price did we get? We got 64s. Okay, so out of the money. Well, out of the money by a few pennies. We'll see what we get here.
Yeah, I'm also kind of looking at a futures trade, but I'm looking at this micro SPY short. Someone in the chat as well was saying, Adara, short SPY. And initially I was thinking, well, no, I don't really want to do that. Then I already had the chart pulled up as well when I saw that comment, which is funny. But then I was like, actually, maybe I do want to do that as a micro short because look, we had that earlier area of support. We come into it, then we see some chop and churn, we fall, we get to this area, and we're having a hard time. I might do this, might take a very small share size and just kind of scalp it out. Also, too, like I said, though, I'm trying to be less cognizant of chart levels when I do trade the ETFs. That's something as well, or I've learned from Sharif, because I know you talk about your chart levels that matter less than price levels when it comes to these futures trades. For me, the book is really key as well. Yeah, shout out to that person who told me to short this, because this would have been a really nice short. If we get back to the area and reject again, I'll take it, but I do not want to get involved too late in the move. Like, I think to me, there's a difference between getting in on the back end and getting in when the move's already happened and you're getting swept up in the move, right? So I think like the back end to me is like as the trade's setting up. I'll show an example. I was pretty proud of myself here on this meta trade because I did get involved in the back end of the range bounce. So instead of getting in right at the bottom of the range, I got in when I saw that curl up starting to happen, right? To me, getting involved in the SPY right now is just not my type of trade, though I should have gotten involved. I can definitely recognize I messed up there. But you know, as we say, or as Obi says, where is the next trade? And I will be looking for one. Nvidia getting really interesting here. That shout out to CompBestRx for calling that 870 bounce that we had earlier. Definitely had it. And look, we're rejecting off that earlier area that I was liking as one of my micro range areas, the 874. If we come and bounce again off that 870, 871, don't mind if I do, with very small share size and a very tight stop. So that's the look here. Brad Gobbler saying that thing is dropping like it's hot. I think everything's been dropping like it's hot today. I really have to say it's been a hard look, but SPY kind of giving, instead of giving up the ghost, giving back the ghost, returning the ghost, coming back to life, waking up like, I don't know. At that we get to that 513.40s, then we try to come back up. Right now, we're continuing to dip down lower, though. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what we get here. Hard to find a good trade to make when all of these stocks are trying to decide what they want to be when they grow up. Yep.
Yeah, trying to fight with the future, looking for that half-point break, that 50-point break. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. Bit of a tight range right now. Not much is happening. I mean, Apple's flying, guys. Apple is the one that we really should be in right now, but it's not having the effect of lifting these markets as it's really the only one that's moving up at the moment. I don't see much else in Mag 7 world to the high side. I got Softy below the volume weighted average price. I even have Google on its way down to 142 and a third. I mean, Nvidia's trying to break through that 875 level. I've got Amazon as well, trying to break and hold above 178, but it's really Apple here that's pumping up, and not much else is helping boost up this futures position. So maybe we should leave the future alone and go after Apple here. We're about 16 pennies in the money on this futures trade, but I'm looking for, I keep seeing these bottoming tail candles show up on the side chart on my futures, but they're all south of 1850, and that's making this long a little bit harder than I'd like it to be. So I think I might be trading the wrong thing here, And I think that the best thing to do would be look at the strong name directly, which is Apple. We'll see what we get. All right, the future making another attempt here at 18,250. About 20 pennies, 25 pennies in the money now on this Q trade. Let's see if we can make our way back up to a key level of resistance, which is going to be that 18.3. But we got to get ahead of 18.250 first before we get to 18.3. Goes without saying. We're having a lot of trouble breaking through the 50-point level. It hasn't been just for a few minutes. We've been having trouble breaking above 18 since essentially 1 o'clock. So we're going on 45 minutes worth of rejections at the 250 level for whatever reason. That's not typically a level that we have trouble with. Usually it's either the closing print or the 100-point levels that we use as areas of support and resistance. So keeping an eye here and looking for a move up. We'll see what we get.
Yeah, we'll see what we get. Unfortunately, the market, you have to get what you get and you don't get upset. Although it is, as we talked about today, it's very sometimes easy to get upset.
Right.
I do have this Tesla short again. We did fat finger a cool 3 cents out of this as a loss earlier because I was trying to set my area and I didn't type it right. That's okay. Only my second fat finger of the day, which should not be a brag, but for me kind of is. So I'll take it how it is. I will say I'm trying to be more cognizant of how I'm typing in my trades because my biggest issue with the fat fingers was just I was punching wildly and not looking at like, hey, am I typing in 163 or 162? Do you know what I mean? So I have been a little bit more cognizant of that, and I think I have noticed this week a massive decrease in my in that situation. But pamp it, says Sharif, which is not fun for my Tesla trade, but we're 20 cents in the money, so it's okay. And I'm joking. I'm in the Sam. I'm all good. Congrats to you on that pamp it.
We're at 30 pennies in the money, Adair. It's not, well, 40 now as it moved up into that 75. All right, we're above 18,250 right now. And thank you, Dan the Man Emmons. Roll week, because we rolled. We talked about we're on the June contract now. We left March behind. Wow, right back down again. Unreal. Dan telling me 18,250 is essentially the equivalent on the old contract, the March 15th contract, of 18,000. So you know how that 18,000 point is, that level is going to ask. I'm getting out of this trade because Apple's tanking. And we're right back down again below 18,250. I don't need this headache. So we'll take a small win, like 5 or 6 pennies or something like that on it, as it keeps rejecting that level. Unless it gets above that level and it's gonna start moving up, I'm not gonna try to guess where this one is gonna, when this one's gonna go. So I'm out. Could have taken a nice 50 penny winner. Didn't do it. So watch in here as it comes all the way back down again, yet again. 18,250 rejecting essentially for the last 45 minutes or so, and right now no different. All right, let's see what Apple's doing. So Apple got a ways away from the volume weighted average price at which it's been having trouble all day. So this one kept wicking into the volume weighted average price and then rejecting. Then we got the break eventually here at on the half an hour at 1:30, and now we're coming back down off that 173, let's just say 80-ish rejection, almost went to 90s there. Do we now get support at VWAP? So should we be looking maybe dip trade-ish 173? VWAP's at 173 low teens, maybe 11 or 12. And then there's that 173, the whole dollar level right before it. I think that that's probably the more prudent trade, is to take that 173 dip on Apple with a really tight stop, 10 cents at the most. I mean, 10 cents. Essentially, and let's see what this one does. Turin, $5 super chat. Sharif, we wait break 438 down to 439 on a 5-minute candle and enter. So I'm assuming you're talking about the SPY. Are those the levels on the SPY?
No, the SPY is, I think it might be the QQQs.
The triple Qs. Oh yeah, what am I saying? 439, yeah, 438 down. Let's see what he's talking about here. 438 down and 439.20 on a 5-minute candle. 439.20. Yeah, you're not wrong. So you have that crest over here and that 438. What do you say? 438 exactly. Yeah, but there's a general area over here, but we did come into 437 and 437 and change, right? 437.60 or thereabouts. So you know, I don't want to hold hard and fast to these even dollar levels. I do like your look over here at 439.50, but I don't really base my levels on the triple Qs. It's more on the NQ, MNQ, and then, well, it's actually on the NQ, not MNQ. I trade the MNQ. I chart on the NQ. but we'll see what we get here. It looks like these dip trades are getting bought up because we're getting bottoming tail candles on this futures position. So look at this. So even though we're having trouble breaking and holding above 18,250, the dips here look to be bought up. So every time it dips, there's a hammer candle looking formation that's taking place because the dips are getting bought up, but we're having trouble breaking through that top, obviously. So that's the look there. That's what the bamboozling aspect is. We'll see what we get here.
Yeah, what a market we've had. I've been scalping in and out of the SPY. I was noticing too, it's kind of hard because I've been like, having the little triangles all over as I've been getting involved in this, but kind of trying to take these moves in and out here of the SPY. We kind of get into that. We were having a really hard time breaking above that 513.70. I saw that rejection and I said, I want all the smoke within reason. So I took the long up to that area, though I didn't take as much as I should have. And then now I'm taking it short. If we decisively break above that area with the viciousness, with the swiftness, with whatever word you'd like to use, I will be getting out. But I want to really take this into about 513.40. So going to be about a 20-cent scalp. I don't love my point of entry. I was trying to wait to get in the middle of the movement at that 513.61. That might have been a bad call. But I do agree with what you're saying, Sharif. Like, I think the futures across the board here have been very rangy. Not even in a fun way. Rangy in like when you breathe and it's like it's just like breathing. Like it's like taking these little tiny moves and it's not really giving you the movement that you want to see. Right now I am getting, okay, I think we're gonna have to leave post haste on this. We're out of the SPY. That's okay. We're slightly negative on this name right now, but honestly, I'm just happy I tried. Like I was talking to Cal Burdett as well about this in the chat. And he was saying, it's just good to get the reps in, right? I'm really just trying to get my trading reps in, lifting those weights and trying every 2 seconds to have those opportunities to happen here.
Right back up.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's been so. Like, I'm so happy I got out where I did. I have to say, this is. And one thing too is I'm trying to align my instincts more. I know someone was saying like once in the chat a while ago, like new traders don't really have instincts, so you have to rely on rules.
So true.
That's a fair point.
That is a good point.
But I think too, in some ways, it's like you kind of have to try to build your instincts as well, right? So that's what I'm trying to do is using the rules and my very limited analysis of the tape and the chart to try to develop my instincts. So happy that worked out on the SPY. Yeah, what a market. So many things happening here. And yeah, Tesla, I did end up getting out the rest of that Tesla short that I had earlier. With that fat finger move for a 3-cent loss for part of it aside, not a bad move. Getting a little bit too tight though for me to play in this range anymore. I might have to leave this one in the parking lot charged with the EV charger. Back in the queues.
Back in the queues, baby. Doing the thing here, looking to get shut down on the day. No, I'm not even close. I'm looking at Nvidia, man. Nvidia's making a move, guys. We just broke that key level of 875, and it looks like we're on our way to 880. This thing moves dollars at a time, my goodness. And we're also well above 1850 now, so now it's time to wet our beak on some profits over here. So we'll take that in front of the whole dollar. It's a nice 20-penny winner. Let's see if we can get a continuous move up here through that level. But their bamboozlement is real, and it's not, as directional as you would like it to be, but you don't really get to choose. So taking a little bit of profits there through the break of 439. Shout out to the individual by the name of Turin for shouting out that level. Yes, sir, that was a good call out. Now we're looking for a break of the upper trend line here on the NQ. And here's what I'm talking about. We've been ranging within this trend line all dang day. And so right now, it's the line comes to...
Bless you.
That 7.5 or thereabouts. So we'll see if we can get a move into that area here. I'm talking about 18.275 or so. So packing my patience there, Dara, see what we can get.
Yeah, patience should be packed. Also, someone was saying, I guess someone was like, oh, I went to lunch, came back, what's happening to AMD? And someone else said AMD is AMDing in response. And I mean, yeah, AM dead.
You've said that
AM
before,
done,
yeah.
AM destroyed, AM desecrated. It's a bad look across the board here. This was actually an interesting flat bottom break-ish. Not a perfect flat bottom, but this whole area around 192, 189.50, it broke with a swiftness and a viciousness, continued to fall to the downside. No read on this except, wow, big move down here on this AMD. Also, it's nice to see so many people excited about JOMO, the joy of missing out here for life. Yeah, I think, honestly...
Love it.
I voted JOMO. I find hits me a little bit harder because it's like, sometimes you just have to be happy you missed a move. You know what I mean? If the move didn't work out, or if, you got it and then you would have made a mistake, you know what I mean? It's a little bit harder to have JOMO, though, for Microsoft, which might get the prize for the most bamboozling name on this here desk. I know you and I both tried to tangle with this one.
Yeah.
And I think Microsoft might have choked us both out on
Right
that.
up it goes again, Adara, into 425. The strength, yes, Katina Man. Believe it or yes, the Katina Man is long, so he's printing. He's long 423.03. So another bottom wick for the Katina Man. It's all right, he says. Yeah, dust the shoulder off, baby. Yeah, you and I both. He says he took some hits, trying to get into that, as I've been taking hits on the Qs, but we're nicely about 20 pennies in the money again here on this Qs trade as we come up into that 75-point level on the future. That is what I'm earmarking our level of resistance to be, and I will look to take profits in and around that level. I realize I'm trading the Qs. I realize I'm looking at the M or the NQ level. That's fine. That's kind of how I trade. Here comes 75, and there it is, flattening out there. Please just dang punch on this trade. It still may go to 18.3, sadly, and if that's the case, we're gonna give back a little bit of money. But yes.
Yeah.
Wow, hold on. Sorry, I just paused for a second because I couldn't believe what I saw there. Nvidia breaking 880 and on its way to the volume weighted average price, bouncing off that 867 level that we printed at around 115. Here comes 880. There goes 880 on Nvidia. Now it's looking to come in at 882. That's where VWAP is hanging out on my chart. I do like the fact that we broke this crest over here. So this was our attempt to go back above 880 and we rejected it. We haven't had a VWAP attempt on Nvidia since 10:30 this morning. That is the last time, Adara, we touched the volume weighted average price. We are gonna touch it right now. It looks like 82, where is it exactly? 82.05. Or thereabouts is where the volume weighted average price is. Looks like we're going to break it right now. Nvidia may be coming back here. If we do break above the volume weighted average price, I'll be looking to this area over here around 890 or thereabouts to see if we do encounter resistance there, because that is the pre-market low range this morning. We did break above the volume weighted average price, but in typical NVDA fashion, there is going to be bamboozlement at these levels. 883 incoming. Keep your eye on 890. That's where I think that we may find that key level of resistance on resistance. Did you ever study European history?
Un petit peu.
Yeah, I know. I had to do it around here. Did you ever hear of the Jacobins from the French Revolution?
It sounds really familiar.
Yeah. So that's kind of what when I say
see,
resistance.
Yeah.
Like the Jacobins, there was a lot of killing back then. Let me tell you.
There was a lot of resistance
killing
in Europe.
there. Yeah. There was a lot of resistance during that time. Yes, there was. Anyway, what is this guy saying? I don't even know what this guy's saying. All right, so on our way to 18.3 or thereabouts a day, and I should mention that the NQ, the volume weighted average price, is at 18.304. So just like 4 points above that 100-point level. It should be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting market. Also, in terms of the micro ranges for Nvidia, I know probably no one cares, but just that I found interesting that I found pretty easy to play, or not easy to play, mind you, but worth watching. 882 is one of them that we're kind of struggling with around VWAP. 886 is another one that was gave you some wiggle room earlier. And then on the way to the downside, you want that 887 and or 877, as Sharif called, also 879. So those are just the micro ranges that were some fun to play earlier in Nvidia. Again, you can totally take that with a grain of salt. Not at all advice, just me drawing lots of lines on a chart and trading them. But I have to say, I'm really happy I've started this strategy the last couple of days. I think it's kind of been working for me. I am really shocked to say, and I'm very tickled pink to say, my top name today is Nvidia. So I can't really be disappointed about that, I have to say. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm happy with how this is going on this Nvidia. Elon saying, hi Adara, got the courage to long AM destroy at 187? I probably don't, but I guess you got the courage. Congrats to you and Elon taking that 187 long. You are $1 in the money. Go
Wow,
you.
this thing's out.
Congrats, Elon, if you took this. This is an awesome look. Paul Fisher saying it's working for you. I guess this is for me. Yes, it is working for me. I know as well, there was some comment in the chat earlier like, oh, don't go short while Sharif is going long. And the thing is, too, is I was shorting Tesla. Tesla doesn't really do what the Q does, right?
No.
And
yeah.
honestly, those Tesla shorts were working for me.
I'm telling you, Adara, there was a time when you looked at the Future and you looked at the Mag 7 names, they moved in tandem. There was no difference between the three. What's going on over there? What are you printing on now? Who hit the bang?
I was just saying we were short.
Yeah.
No, they.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying we were short 197 AMD.
The Katina man was short 197 on AMD today for anybody who was watching in the morning. Guys, we're about to break 188. Well, we did break 188 there. We went all the way to 18. Sorry, let me show it up on my chart here. I know I'm not talking about it. Let's load up AMD. It did go all the way down to 186.44. I mean, that's over a 10 banger right there. That's what we call an 11 banger. But anyway, it's trying to recover a little bit, trying to break through that 188, but it's having trouble with that level as the Future rejecting off that top end of the range like I anticipated, that 18,295. Looks like we're rejecting off that level now, and that's precipitating this down move, micro down move here on AMD. But as I look on my watch, Adara, I know you're typing. I know, Sawa.
I was just looking at
Yeah, you're
Netflix
doing your
range.
thing.
Apologies.
We got 1 minute left on the show.
Ow.
And tomorrow is Friday, so it'll be the last day of the volatility lesson.
Yeah, no, apologies there. I was just typing there. Hog Rider was mentioning this lovely Netflix range, which I'm very sad I missed out on.
Okay.
But don't miss out on tomorrow's lesson.
No.
Because we will be there, we will be square, and we will be trading. And
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I think today I don't want to speak for. I'll speak for myself. I think it was a really fun trading day.
Yes, it was.
And I think there was so much happening in this market. We took a lot of trades. We hopefully dropped some hot lines about lessons. I think we did. I think some people got some stuff out of it. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you, greatest moderator. I know we said some hot lines about Reddit moderators earlier, but shout out to moderators everywhere. We love
Bears
being
versus
here.
Bulls knows exactly how we feel about it.
Best moderator.
Yeah, easily.
But for now, we will be going to the best news desk. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Brendan's at the desk, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. Just seeing U.S. Steel downside in a hurry here on pretty heavy volume once again.